I know it's a huge delay, but
Well, at least you just see if we're live. Chat. How do I turn the chat on?
bottom to the right.
There we go.
Hello, is anyone here?
We'll have some people join.
So when we do is when we go live, we should probably have a countdown, and maybe we start 5 minutes a little bit later, I guess, but just to make sure. There's the live.
It says we're live.
Joe Williams. Hello, Joe. How you doing, Joe?
It says there's 4 people in.
Yeah.
4 people. So it's us 3 and Joe. Hey, Joe. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, it's about a
rock and roll.
We are finally. Hey, Stacy. Welcome in.
That's hi.
Welcome in.
All right.
We definitely should start like 5 minutes early with some kind of countdown clock or something going, so that we have time to let people come in.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times we can let some people join. We can take.
Then we're gonna figure out when we officially do the. We're here.
Yeah.
Because it's only Stacy and Joe.
But there's a lot of pressure with Joe, man. He's very.
Yes. So Gonzo, did you have your chat? Did your chat open? Gonzo?
So I see Joe's text that says we are finally here.
Yes.
Stacy said hello.
Yeah.
She says format looks good. So I guess I'm seeing it unless I'm missing out on something.
You're seeing it, brother. You got it.
Boom, 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 boom.
You're gonna do the theme song and the opening theme song?
I mean, you kind of put me.
Gurus, welcome in, buddy.
Look at Tom Peters. Great mates.
So I guess the beginning is just intros and hellos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Tom Peters.
Looks like we have 10 people now in the chat.
Looks like it.
All right, so we're gonna get going. Welcome into the world premiere of 3 Men on the Record. This has been a long time coming. We've been discussing this for a while, and it's very exciting because now we're here, and we're gonna talk about some music. We're gonna introduce why we're doing this, and the mastermind behind it is Scott. And we're gonna let Scott talk about why we decided to do what we're doing today.
Get in there, Scotty.
Hey, yeah. Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming by. And it is great that the day's finally here. And right up to the last minute, we're still trying to get work done to go live. But why are we doing this? I think it's kind of appropriate given the past few weeks or past few months of what's happened is, the one thing that's always positive in life and brings people together is music. When I'm off at a family event or a work event and I'm talking to people, when we're talking music, everybody's happy. Everybody's together. We might be disagreeing about a record or an artist or a song, but, I just find that people have a lot of passion about music, and I know I have. So, for a couple of years, I'd been thinking about like, hey, I want to do YouTube. And then when I came to Whatnot, and the community at Whatnot, so terrific, and I met more great people, and I started looking around, and I thought, well, when you get into arrangement with people, you got to have a lot of trust. So over the time, I'd really developed a good relationship with Sean and Jake, and I felt like I noticed when we were in rooms together, we had a good time, and people seemed to enjoy it. And I said, okay, well, maybe that's the mix. I don't think any of us are like just downright world experts on any of this, but I tell you what, we all love music and we like the community. So the thing is we want it to be about music and music culture. Yes, we sell vinyl on Whatnot, but everything's welcome. Streaming, CDs, it doesn't matter. This is going to be more about the music than about the first Winchester press of a record. We'll save that for Whatnot or special videos. So, join us and let's have fellowship around the altar of music. I guess that's my pitch.
I'm really personally looking forward to those that are coming in here. Just basically poo-pooing all of my choices on the top 5 hundo. It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
Well, we already know
Yeah.
you make some bad choices in life, Gonzo. So why should
Too
it
many.
carry over?
Jimmy, I already
And-
told Jim today via text, retro treat. I told Jim, I'm like, Jim, nobody is dumber than me. No one. I take the cake.
Don't tell yourself short. There's a lot of people dumber than you.
Yeah. Not that you're not dumb, but there's a lot of dumb people.
Forrest Gump
Yeah.
can kick
Forrest Gump was just
my bootay.
So yeah, and I'm really enjoying this because we get to talk about music.
Yes.
There is a challenge that we can't play the music, so it's kind of a little. You kind of have to imagine some of the things we talk about during the show. But again, we're gonna do the Spotify, and there's so many different other avenues that we're gonna be able to talk about the music. But it's so much fun to talk about the music and learn about the music. And I've learned so much from Scott and Jake and Best Coast, Joe. I've learned a lot from. There's just so much great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you've leaned heavy on Joe a lot, especially with a lot of the blues. Joe's a big blues guy.
Yeah, and there was a person the other day I saw that had some amazing blues, and I never, I had Johnny T-Bone Walker I would listen to, but I never expanded on that, and interacting with everyone has opened my mind to different music, and
Joe goes.
hopefully we do that
I'm
with you guys on this show. We open it up for you, but you also share stuff with us. Because we're gonna have guest people come on through the Discord. We're gonna learn stuff from you too. It's not just us talking to you. It's really we want you to come back and talk to us. So it's more interactive, and that's definitely a lot more fun than just trying to push a record on you to buy.
I couldn't agree more with that, Sean. It's kind of like you feel like you're on a stream in someone's show, like you're into purchase records. But the great thing is there's no pressure on purchasing a record. Like, you have the three of us, like we all you have our attention, right? It's not running a record. Hey, thanks for the purchase, on to the next. We can actually, engage in conversation and really talk about, a lot of the topics that we like, with regards to music. I'm sure we'll even talk movies in this too, because y'all know me. I was a, former actor in my young age. And my prior
Maybe
that.
we'll find clips of some of his acting.
I have sent. I thought I sent you some, Sean. I do have several commercials.
In the future, guys, we'll share some of those.
We'll share them. Yeah,
we'll definitely share.
I got some crazy hair going.
But yeah, we'll definitely share those things as we go. Because again, we'll drift from music from time to time too, and also we want to learn. Like, I want to know when the Taylor Swift sign stuff's coming for sale.
Subi!
But this makes me laugh. Yesterday, there was the countdown on the Taylor Swift site, and there's a new variant coming, and some people getting excited. It might be the autographs. It might be the autographs. Yeah. It was a cardigan sweater edition. It comes with a cardigan sweater.
Did Stacey? Did she like that?
I don't know. We should ask her if she bought it. Stacey, did you buy the sweater?
Look, I will, first off, to answer a question, I will absolutely share all the commercial stuff that I still have that's out there. The movie you'll never see. That'll never happen.
And I know the name of it, and I can't find jack shit about it. So
it's because they buried it. They buried it like deep in the forest.
The catacombs.
I remember the name of the producer. He told me I would have saved the name, and I would be calling them.
Stacey got the sweater.
Okay. I just wanted to say, Sean, you made a good point that I left out. A lot of it is about joint discovery. Like, just, I hope you guys find some terrific music recommendations coming from us, but we're looking for that coming from you too. And I will say this, we're all open to anything. Like, I feel trapped sometimes because all I sell is classic rock. And I think, from, the 60s to the 80s. And I'm like, well, I listen to a lot more than that. My collection is more than that, but that's what I do. So, please join in and, participate. Shark, name some of the social engagement we have. Please, engage with us on whatever format you feel comfortable.
And I'm also going to sneak in every once in a while in the Discord some coupons for my shows. So that's you definitely want to get into the Discord. 'cause I'm gonna add some coupons and stuff.
To kind of piggyback on that a little bit too, Scott, right? Like you, a great example, right? Like Scott never really listened much to, was it Echo and the Bunnymen?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
Yeah.
discovered it much later, right? That's what I love. That's what it's about. Is discovering.
That was actually buyers that did that, like Thomas Richards and Brian Rhodes. So some of my buyers were saying, "Hey, can you get Echo and the Bunnymen?" And I was like, "Well, I know who they are, but I don't know that I know any songs." So as I got those records in, I started listening to them. I said, "Man, I slept on these guys. They're great."
Yeah, my musical background is definitely very narrow. I mean, I knew what my friends in the neighborhood played, and I knew the Beatles because that's what my parents played over and over and over again.
Hey, same,
And my exposure to music was the Kid Next Door with his new cassettes, and Mr. Roboto just came out, and we're listening to it, going, "Oh my god!" But there was no one listening to hip hop in my neighborhood, so I lost that, and I never knew anyone listening to jazz. I mean, all these things I discovered on Whatnot, and hopefully we can expand that on here with you guys.
Oh yeah.
So the next segment that we have is new releases and recent acquisitions, and I just got my order, so it makes it easy for me. But some of the new releases, how many times have you missed a new release by about 3 or 4 days, and that autographed copy or that special edition, you kind of lost out on it? We're going to try to bring that information to you guys, but we also want you to bring that information to me. And so if Taylor Swift goes live with the signed one, let me know. But we'll be discussing that. Like one of the new releases this week that the pre-order is taking is Anthology 4.
Yes, I need to get on that. I've not done that yet. I need to get in there.
And that one will be more readily available. Where the mono box had just sold out like instantly. I think the Anthology will be around a little bit longer. But if you don't have any Anthology, you can get the complete volume 1, 2, 3, and 4 with some additional material. I think some inserts or something. $375. But if you bought all of them separately of the originals and then bought the fourth, it would come out to about that much money if you don't already have some of the copies. So if you don't have them and into it, there's your opportunity to buy all 4. If you already have 3 of them, there's your opportunity to buy volume 4. So that's good. What do we got there?
Well, this is an OG. This is an original. Stacy said that I think the represses of Outcast came out, but this is an original of Speakerbox and the Love Below.
Yeah, so Joe, you're right. I mean, you gotta kind of sign up for all the artists that you know about that you like, and get those. Sign up for those newsletters. Maybe create a separate account where you email where you just get music information.
I would like that. I've never been good with that. I'll be honest with you. Like when the last time I really focused on a lot of releases really was when I was in college. And one of the big releases obviously was Oasis Be Here Now.
Yeah. So
I was there the day. I mean, I was there the day all the albums came out in high school and college.
Yeah, I remember going to the record store at midnight and getting whatever came out. And the one I remember the most was Pearl Jam's Vitality.
Oh yeah,
being there at Newbury Comics at midnight. But now it's
different.
It's totally different. It's all online. And if you're not following that artist's newsletter, by the time you find out, all the good versions or the ones that are more deluxe or signed, or maybe it's a nice colored vinyl that maybe you want that. I'm 3 weeks too late. So with this segment, hopefully we can get you
and with with everybody's help. And I mean, I think now the versus like in the 80s or 90s, there's like 10 times the amount of new releases on release day than there used to be, because everybody can self-produce now and put out their own music, and independent artists just go to town. So we're going to focus on stuff you're interested. So hop on the Discord server, add into the thread. There's a new release thread, just a regular new release thread. I've listed some records I created a thread for the Rhino Reserve because Rhino Reserve is going to be killer next month. So we're going to have Porno for Pyros, self-titled, that badly needed a repress, and it's cool that it gets a Rhino Reserve repress. That's
Hold
really
up
awesome.
here. What do you mean it badly needed to be repressed?
Because you haven't sold it yet, so now you're going to take it in the shorts on trying to sell that thing for a gazillion dollars.
Well, and the
This
thing
is an original European press, and it sounds amazing.
I'm going to bet you that Rhino will blow it out of the water. They've been killing it every time. They're almost undefeated in everything they've released. As far as
we
sound
should,
quality.
maybe we should.
We'll definitely look into this. Is the things that we have.
You should do a shootout.
I tell you what, Jake, you send me your record.
Okay.
I'll do a shootout. If the Rhino wins, I'll just sell your record for you because you don't need it.
No. If it wins, you buy it.
Oh,
If
no.
mine wins, you buy it.
This is the thing, guys, too, is we're going to look at some of this stuff because I don't know if you know. I mean, he has a lot of records behind him right there, but he doesn't always look for the first press. He doesn't look. He is the best. He hunts for the best sounding vinyl. If it's the OG, then he's going to go for the OG. If it's not, he's going for the. And that's kind of where I'm starting to be, where like I'll have some VG copies of something. I'll buy the reissue because I know it's going to sound better than my VG, and I'm happy with that for now. But always in the quest to find the best sounding one, and that's really what you really want is the best sounding one. I know some people like the OG, some people are completionist on everything, and you got to kind of choose what kind of collector you are. And I know Scott is always on the quest for the best sounding, and sometimes that's the CD. It doesn't have to be vinyl to be the best sounding one.
I could.
And Gonzo likes things to not be open and sealed, so he can't listen to them.
I've gotten better. I've gotten better with that. Although when Thomas Richards bought my sealed Roger Waters Radio Chaos, that was hard for me to open for him. Yeah. I did not want to open that.
And myself, I used to be a completionist on everything. Oh, I got Styx. I need to get every Styx album.
Same.
No, I don't. And I've been pulling a lot out of my collection and just focusing on stuff that I know I like to listen to. Yeah, Physical Graffiti.
Get in there, Kroger.
Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here is getting a big reissue with the 3 LP set.
Yep.
So that's another thing that's kind of cool. Well, but everyone looks at things differently and collect differently. And you have 3 different people here that really collect differently.
I think that's great though. I mean, that's definitely a good conversation. It's a good conversation piece. Yeah. I think I talked to Scott about this because y'all know, like I got into Robin Trower. I mean, probably a year and a half ago by accident. I just pulled a record and the jacket. I was like, this looks pretty cool. I played it. And voila, fell in love with it. Now, Bridge of Sighs up. What you got, honey?
Hey. Oh, he's got dinner. Look at that. So we're gonna have what is Gonzo eating?
It looks like chicken parm.
Nice.
Okay, so going back to that. Thank you, honey. Going back to that, I got the 50th anniversary half-speed master of Bridge of Sighs. I listened to it and did a shootout myself just with the original 74 US press to the half-speed master. The half-speed sounded horrible. It sounded horrible. The original press blew it out of the water. So just experiencing that one record, I know for a fact, look, some of the original presses might sound better than some of the newer ones. Right?
But see here, Cheryl did the same thing with the Styx. You had to have every single one. And I don't need that anymore. Sometimes the greatest hit is more than enough for me. And some things I need everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few artists that I do everything. So if you know me, Jimmy Buffett is always, I'm a completionist on that. Warren Zevon, and Beatles. But for the most part, anything else, I don't need everything.
Well, Sean, you'll be pleased to know.
Got it, Tom.
Rhino Reserve, Excitable Boy, 10:30.
Now, aren't
October
they
30th.
doing another buff? Aren't they doing another Zevon too?
Well, Rhino's putting out some represses of
Yeah,
Zevon.
there's a life
but-
Life Will Kill You is coming out.
Yeah,
The
But
Wind
this-
was just re-released.
but this one's going to be on Rhino Reserve, so this will get special
Oh,
treatment. It'll sound great.
And then I
Yes,
want to compare that with my
90125
Mo-
also.
I want to compare that with my MoFi.
Has anyone listened to Buckingham Nicks, the latest reissue that just came out? Anyone get it?
Haven't gotten my Rhino Hi-Fi
I
yet.
looked at it today. I actually physically had it in my hand today, but I didn't pull the trigger on it.
But you had the regular release. The
I don't
regular
know. I don't
repress.
know. I'm not familiar
I
with
do.
it that much.
Yeah, I do.
No,
New
you have the
Arrival.
OG. I have the OG too.
Yeah.
But they issued Buckingham Nicks on Rhino Hi-Fi and a regular repress too. I think it's colored vinyl on the regular.
I'd be
repress.
interested. See, again, I would be interested to hear all three. But I think it's great that the Rhino Hi-Fis. I mean, I love that because look, I mean, a great example. I think the best quality sounding album of that prior to Rhino Hi-Fi was the Buckingham Nicks Japanese press. And that thing is not cheap. And the Rhino Hi-Fi is going to be a $40 record as opposed to a $280 record, right?
Yeah. And Joe makes a good point. I think we were talking about this earlier this week in somebody's stream. Where is Sony Universal? Come on, get on this. It's so great what Rhino's doing, which is the Warner Brothers and their family of labels. I'd love to see them too. I did see that a One Step is coming for Prince, and I think that's Sony Universal at least distributed. So maybe they'll get on it. I would love to see a Steve Winwood back in the High Life
That would be excellent.
audio file treatment. So thanks for the comment, Joe.
Yeah, Rhino is done an amazing job with the pressings, but also the affordability, and you can't really beat that because a MoFi is even the basic MoFi is there's the simple ones that are 40, and then there's the next one with the number that like 70 or 80, and then the One Steps are 150. But
Yeah.
Rhino is keeping it in a price range that is amazing.
Amazing. $40, $32. That's staggering.
And then they have their Now Playing, which I've picked up a few of those and sold a few. And those are really great. It's a nice little best of kind of compilations, and they're doing a wonderful job on that. And those are $20. So I mean, there's a lot of good things coming from Rhino, and that's probably one of those ones that you need to sign up for their newsletters so that you don't miss out on some of those things. Because didn't they do a Black Sabbath, and now it's like $100? It's the numbered Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah, but they did it unnumbered too. So yeah, the Black Sabbath sold out quick, just like the Buckingham Nicks sold out in like 2 hours or something like that. So they're very popular. It's amazingly affordable, and hopefully Sony Universal looks around and said, "Hey, we need to get in that game too." So
yeah. So and Scott pretty much has all the Rhino Reserves that are coming out, and it's pretty. The Rhino Reserves series is pretty new, so it's pretty. You can get in there and kind of collect them all and not spend too much money on them. But I am looking forward to the Z-Bonds, but I have them all, but of course I'll buy them again.
Little Johnny the Fox action.
Thin Lizzy. So yeah, me and Gonzo finally got our vinyl from Japan.
0 tariffs.
And he got didn't get, and I paid tariffs. And I don't know why.
But you got 26 records, right?
Yeah.
I got 9 times. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I've got a bigger order that's going to be coming in, but it's FedEx. And I've already done a big order with FedEx and I didn't pay tariffs. I think DHL has been kind of a pain in the boot.
Now, in this segment with new releases and recent acquisitions, you guys feel free to chime in on anything that that's coming out or you just recently got. We'd love to hear about it. You can do it on here or you can even do it on Discord.
Absolutely.
And because we definitely would love to hear what you're listening to, because that might be the next thing I'm listening to. Like I don't know if you know, I've been pushing the baby metal lately, and if you're not familiar with that, I mean, I actually got 2 copies and I sold one. Actually, I sold 3. I sent one person to the website and bought one. And this is what I've been listening to lately, and it's totally out of my wheelhouse. It's not something that I ever listened to this genre, but I actually really enjoyed this record. I don't know why, but I do. And when
You've been pushing that, Sean, about as heavy as I've been pushing Dreamweaver or even Fonda's Workout.
when you're excited about a music, you want to share it.
You get pumped.
We all do. We all get pumped, and you want to share it. So Joe's talking about some chest reissues.
I agree with Joe's statement. I'm kind of excited about that too. The chest reissues.
Yeah.
You know, you think, you know, some of the quality of those OGs were I mean, they weren't phenomenal, but I'm excited too.
Yeah, Joe. Matter of fact, I wanted to get some information from you. I was seeing some releases like the best of BB King, and I didn't know which ones you were talking about. So I'd love to hear what you think would be worth picking up. This is Gonzo and Sean know because I texted them and said today, man, that acoustic guitar in Family Man on this album sounds so good. So I've been listening to the Rhino Reserve Tango in the Night Fleetwood
Right,
Mac.
and you were blown away by it, and and immediately texted us how excited you were. And that's kind of what another great thing about music is. We get very excited, and sometimes we want to share it. Sometimes we talk about it too much. Like for example, the Renters. What is that? What is that?
The Rentals, Return of the Rentals, 1995 30th anniversary. Matt Sharp, the original bassist and co-founder of Weezer.
So if you want to hear the Rentals at a more refined, buy a Weezer record.
It's completely different.
It's not, because me and Scott listened to it and surmised it sounded a lot like Weezer, and not
And I
even
didn't
knowing the fact.
Not even knowing, we both said
Right,
it sounds
and
like
I was
Weezer.
amazed that we kind of came up with the same thing in our mind, and we didn't even know.
Absolute lies. Banger of an album. My goal tonight is to get Scott to say the word banger one time. I already got him once tonight.
I hate
can't
that word.
that word. It's gonna
like
happen.
half the shows and whatnot, bangers. I was like, wow, your creative genius is off the charts tonight, folks. It seems like a hipster word. I don't like hipster words.
Let's talk about that word for a minute. So before we went live, we all did a quick run through on the albums we're going over, and Gonzo said banger, and Scott called him out for it, right? And then it came to Scott's turn and he dropped the banger word like almost
Banger.
immediately.
I was like, I felt like such a moron.
We have all the things Scott says what we shouldn't do, he's done. Like not using the F word.
I'm going on the record right now.
We went live last week briefly,
word
and he was the first
has come out of my mouth yet. Not one. They both already have.
Not in the show.
I got 'em.
It is amazing, Gonzo. Like we didn't think you could talk without that. So
you guys put the $1 in the Gonzo Shenanigans tip jar.
Hey, Jeanette, how you doing? Welcome in.
Jeanette.
3 Men on the Record.
Jeanette. All right, quarterback. What are we doing?
All right. So unless you guys have, and you can also put it in the Discord if you have any new releases or recent acquisitions that you made, especially if you know when the signed Taylor Swift's come out. I don't want to know about any cardigans or. Can we guess? How about this? Can you guys come up with in the chat?
Stacy already got it.
What the next variant of Taylor Swift's records are?
Now
I have come up with 2. I have the Taylor Swift, the Life of a Showgirl thong and CD, and then there's also Taylor Swift's sourdough edition that comes with a loaf of sourdough that she made herself.
Wait, please tell me you're making this up.
What?
You're making this up, right?
Yeah, I am making it up, except that she had a cardigan one. It was actually a cardigan and a CD.
Okay, because I'm
So you
like,
get a Taylor
wow, what
Swift
did we come
sweater.
to?
But I'm thinking I'm guessing what the next variants are.
Yeah, I think Stacy's right. Like, we're just going to ask our good friend Stacy to
Yeah, she
cre-
knows.
create a thread on Discord, pin it, and just keep us up to date on all the Taylor Swift release, because there will be a million gazillion variations and packaging and all that. The greatest marketer music has ever seen. So,
See, there's
besides
a lot of fun.
Kiss, her and Kiss, they stand out.
Yeah, so Stacy at Best Coast Stacy is going to be our roving Taylor Swift reporter, and she, if you've been in any of her streams, she's got the younger people's music. We're the old men, so we're going to
Yeah,
include her to educate us on
absolutely.
everything new.
And we're going to educate her. She
Yes, we
thinks
are.
we're old fogies. We actually are listening to the best music, and we just happen to be old. There's a reason we listen to Zeppelin and Floyd and the Stones and the rest of them.
They don't make them like they used to, baby.
You say that. You can say that again.
All right,
They
so,
don't make them like they used to.
So now we're on to our next segment where we've been compiling a list of 500 albums. We're not saying they're the best of all time. Just albums that we think should be in basically everyone's collection. Something you should own. Something maybe you didn't know about. There's going to be titles we all know about. Pink Floyd, blah blah blah. But there's going to be some other things we're going to add in and kind of go over them and why we think that they deserve to be in the 500. We're going to be going over this for multiple weeks because we're doing 22, 24 each show, and over time we'll end up with 500. And again, into these albums that we think you guys should listen to. And we've compiled a list, and I don't even think there's 500 on our list yet. So I am asking you
We're
guys to
getting there.
maybe, if there's an album that you go, I think this album, we're going to have the Pink Floyds and stuff like that, but maybe something we don't know. And then once we listen to it, you'll blow our minds with, wow, yeah.
Joe is asking, own or at least listen to.
I think the way we've had several iterations of this conversation, and Jake and I have it daily almost when we talk about the list.
Oh, listen to it.
It's like there's no rule, but I do think I've always imagined it. Somebody just maybe they come out of a coma for 20 years, or they're an alien. They've landed on Earth, and they got money, and they just said, "Go buy me 500 albums to represent what you think I should listen to," and that's what we're doing. So sometimes. Because we're deep music fans, we might like a certain artist's album, but that might not be the one we put on the list. And Jake and I talked about Pink Floyd today when it came. And artists can have multiple, and this is not set, so it can go whatever way the audience wants it to go. We're just trying to build this 500. So thank you, Joe. So it could be either, Joe. I guess that's the answer to your question.
Yeah, because maybe you listen to it and then you buy it. But we just want you to maybe experience it. Like I'm thinking, like, this is not on the list, and I was looking at it today. I love this record. It's not on vinyl, unfortunately, but I don't even want to say it. Israel Kamakawai Koholioalo. We call him Iz. And most of you know his song Somewhere Over the Rainbow and What a Wonderful World. Haunting. I think this should be in the 500. And it might. But if you come up with something and you're listening to it and going, you know what, this album is awesome, let us know. You can either message us or use Discord, whatever you want to do, and nominate some stuff, because there's definitely stuff we don't know, and I want to learn. Yeah, it's amazing.
And that's 42 minutes of my life, Janet, that I will never get back, because when they recommend something, and I think Sean does this too, I actually go listen to it. I don't think Jake has listened to anything Sean and I have recommended to him.
Yeah, I don't
Now,
think so.
Sean has listened to the stuff I've recommended to him. So
A Moana CD, Joe? No, it's is
yeah, I've heard of that.
amazing, and haunting. It's just amazing. But that's the thing. Maybe someone never heard of them. Maybe, who knows? But that's what this whole 500 is about. And who wants to lead off? I know Jake. Well, I think Jake wants to lead off.
Well, look, I mean, I can definitely lead this party, get this party started. But just to go ahead before we start, just to say, just to, make BG's main course complaint. I guarantee you, if you go and look at if you Google anything on BG's best albums, main course will probably be within their top, I would say, top 3 or 4. I'm sure a lot will probably pick Odessa as like number 1. Some will probably take main course. But to me, that's really when main course, I guess the reason why I put main course out, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first album where Barry Gibb is, ha!
Yeah.
I think that's the first album
It is the first indication of what was to come. Yes.
So it was like Bobby and the Brady Bunch when he went to
that album, I put that record the same way I put Pink Floyd Metal prior to Dark Side of the Moon. You saw the direction where they were going. Main course is kind of the same way. Spirits of Having Flown, yes.
Yeah, kind of Kroger with his.
That being said, I will be more than happy to start it off. And what not an amazing way to start off the top 5 hundo with bringing an album that I know we all have. And if you don't have it, don't worry, I'm not judging you. But it is a staple that you need because it's definitely top 5 hundo. It's definitely top 100. It's pretty much within the top 5. And I'll be honest with you, in every list you look at, it's always number 1 or number 2. Can anybody go ahead and type what album I'm about to bring forward? If you know, you know. Let me see it. People are thinking.
Well, they're on a delay from us anyway. So
the Rentals, Return of the Rentals.
Dark Side of the Moon. Stacy says Dark Side of the Moon.
No.
Terry saying
no Dark Side.
Zep 4.
Are we ready? Close, Kroger.
Yeah, since I'm that puppy. There we go.
I'm talking about the album that started it off. I'm talking about the Beatles' Revolver. I'm talking August 5th, 1966 release, y'all. This is the album of all albums. This pretty much is what started the Beatles from, She Loves You. Well, really, Rubber Soul was kind of the album that started getting us there, right? So Rubber Soul is kind of like main course and metal, okay? Revolver was really the transition. And, I mean, you've got hits like Taxman, Yellow Submarine, Eleanor Rigby, Tomorrow Never Knows, which a lot of people tend to say that this record technically is the first quote-unquote psych record. I'll let you decide. But this was definitely a pivotal moment. I think
when they stopped touring, basically they decided I'm not touring anymore and just
that is correct. So after their last show in Candlestick Park, Revolver was already out by then. Okay, and that's when they went in and really went full studio for Sgt. Pepper and onward. But this album really is the move into more studio discovery. And some of the things that I put on, right? This album, I think as of 2023, sold upwards of 27 million copies, 27 million plus. Right? And the themes really, and the Beatles themes, I could almost say this for any Beatles record, right? Is you're always touching with love, always love. There's always some theme of love, loneliness, and more or less kind of like the human experience overall. And I think their songwriting on this album really took a turn for the better because it was starting to focus on just broader themes. So that's my number one. My number two, a little ZZ Top Eliminator. Okay, March 23rd, 1983. Let's talk about the banger hits on this bad boy. You've got Gimme All Your Lovin', Got Me Under Pressure, Sharp Dressed Man, Legs, TV Dinners, right? This was my introduction into ZZ Top, and we all know why, because this bad boy was an MTV video darling. First album, to my knowledge, where they really blended their traditional blues rock sound, but brought in the synthesizers along with that. This was a complete transition from their prior albums. And I mean, this album, themes-wise, dude, it brought style, swagger, rock and roll, Ford cars. I mean,
would you say it's a pimpin' album?
I would say it is a banger of an album, banger alert. But again, a lot of people will disagree with me on that because I think a lot love, Tres Hombres. I grew up on this record first, right? So for me, because I'm 47, I was born in 77. A lot of the stuff I got into was around 1983, 84. I was about 6 or 7. So those are the albums that turned me on, and I lived on MTV and the roller rink. So those are my two to start. What you got?
Well, I'll just add a comment. A couple. Mike is saying Tres Hombres, and Joe chimed in with DeGuello, Tres Hombres, and self-titled. Remember, we're not limited to one album.
That is correct.
You may see some of these come back around. Some of these.
That is correct.
Yeah,
so, Joe, I love that you mentioned that because a lot of people said the same thing about Eliminator when they came in with and what Afterburner, right? People were like, "What the hell is ZZ Top doing coming in with synthesizers?" I don't think it was overdone. This isn't like Rush and Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson and company going away from their, prog sound to heavy synth. The synths were used, but I think they were used the right way. It wasn't overdone.
So I guess I'll go next. And again, how we talk about just because but the next one I'm showing you is it came out when? It came out in 1987, March 9th.
Good year.
Produced by Brian Eno, which always when you see stuff because Brian Eno stuff is just out there, and then he produced. And is this my favorite U2 album? I love it, but I don't know if it's my favorite. But it has amazing songs. I mean, with or without you's on this. Still haven't found what I'm looking for. Where the streets have no name. This is just like the ZZ Top. I like early U2, and I'm not a huge fan of newer U2. I think this was kind of where right before they went off to a little bit different. It changed a little bit, but I love this album so much so that I actually went to Joshua Tree. And how many albums make you go to a national park? This one.
Yeah.
I mean, it might sound weird, but yeah, this brought me to Joshua Tree. And the record amazed me, and actually going there was an amazing experience. I mean, there's your good old Joshua Tree, and
the first side of that album is just remarkable.
Yeah, because you have the Bullets, the Blue Skies, and then Running to Stand Still. Is it the best U2 album? We're not really doing the best, just albums that we think really should be. Take a listen to it, whether or not you buy it. I don't know, just give it a listen. Especially with streaming, you can listen to a record in 10 seconds. So give it a listen, and then go to the national park. And then you can go to Palm Springs afterwards. That's what we did. We went to Palm Springs. It was a bachelor party, and what's scary is I think me and the groom were in bed by 10. It was pretty sad. We didn't do any partying. We went to Joshua Tree, and then we fell asleep in Palm Springs. Um, so that's definitely one an album. And the next one, and this is the next one, and I do have a funny story with this one.
That's right.
But this is again, this one I didn't really know when I was younger, but I listened to it and learned to really love it. I mean, you have the Logic song. You have my thing. I need my glasses. Take the Long Way Home. Um, Breakfast in America. Goodbye Stranger. The Logical song. So me and my wife went to a casino, and we were leaving the casino, right? And music brings you a certain time and place. And when we were leaving, when we walked into the parking lot, there was unfortunate incident where there was an older gentleman in the parking lot surrounded by EMTs, and you can kind of tell that what they weren't doing wasn't working. And you're like, what the hell does it have to do with this record? Well, when me and my wife got in the car, what immediately was playing on the radio was Goodbye Stranger. So music has a weird way of doing things. It brings you to certain moments in your life or certain places. And this one brings me to that poor gentleman who I didn't know, complete stranger. And yeah, I know I was looking for my glasses now on my head. And Goodbye Stranger was playing. But the Logical song, I mean, this definitely to me is definitely a huge a must listen to. If you haven't, which is fine, it's okay. You don't have to feel embarrassed if you've never listened to this record.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you don't know, and you just saw this album, Supertramp, and you just kind of pass it by. But if you can get a chance to pick it up or give it a listen to it. It's just a great album.
I don't know about you guys, but I'd say probably Crime of the Century gets more love now. And I would say Breakfast is probably a little more accessible if somebody was new to Supertramp and you want to get into them. Listen to that one. Crime of the Century is like the recording of that in the studio is amazing. Well, a beautiful sounding record and a great record. So and again, we might see Crime of the Century down the road here too.
Yeah. So Scott, what
Yeah,
you
that's
got?
right. It's up to Scotty now. What do we
Okay.
got, Scotty?
Well, I got one that's very appropriate today because on this day in 1970, Black Sabbath.
Ew.
Paranoid.
My favorite Sabbath album.
Also my favorite Sabbath album. And we're looking for a little bit more accessibility. And I will say I'm not the world's biggest heavy metal or rock guy. I like it. But I love this album. I think it's very, it starts with pigs, and that's kind of foreboding, and you feel like something's happening. It's almost like thematic sound to this album. And, of course the great classic Paranoid is on here, and then Iron Man. But in between them's Planet Caravan, and that's a great song. And I also love Rat Salad, the drumming, a song on here. So this one is stood the test of time. 4 million sales in the US, 12 million worldwide. And recently it got pumped up a little bit more because Rhino did these excellent audiophile represses. The strange thing I found when I was looking into the background of this record is the single in the UK was Paranoid. The single in the US was Iron Man. And they weren't released at the same time. But I would say, I guess they thought the Paranoid wagon was empty, so they went with Iron Man in the U.S. But the Godfathers of heavy metal, Black Sabbath.
I will say this. I will say, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. I think Bill Ward by far is one of the most underrated drummers that deserves more appreciation, and that you don't hear his name brought up enough compared to a lot of the others. Yeah. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. I read a story too when I was doing research for the album. It said that when they were starting out, they had to play these very long sets. Like one gig was like 8 hours and 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and the last 45 minutes, Bill Ward would just drum solo the last 45 minutes, and they said he was amazing. You know,
Guy was and is right is still a powerhouse. I think he's had a lot of health issues over the last years, but man, I mean, it was good to see him at the Ozzy, the Ozzy concert.
There's an Ozzy album. There's an Ozzy single coming out soon with I just drew a blank, but there is an Ozzy single coming soon to be released. Also, guys, what else happened on this day 55 years ago in the UK? What happened? Something else happened. And it has to do with the number 28. Is that the right year? 28?
27, I think.
20,
Isn't it?
or 27?
Yeah.
27. So 55 years ago today, Jimi Hendrix passed away of drug overdose, I believe. Sleeping pills from his girlfriend.
No, he choked on his own vomit.
Yes, but it was laced with a lot of the sleeping pills from his. He took the 18-time normal amount of sleeping pills.
Jimmy was heavily inebriated. Jimmy and I shared the same birthday, November 27th, and we are both left-handed. Go figure.
That's very sad. So let's go back to, and Paranoid was released on this day.
Sorry.
In 1970. All right. My next one is AC/DC, Highway to Hell. This is an OG. Released in 1979, summer of 79. Highway to Hell, and Girls Got Rhythm were the primary singles off of it. And I was kind of surprised to see that because I remember hearing Touch Too Much on the radio, and that was actually a UK single, so I guess some of the US stations were playing it too. But here's a trivia piece about this album. Girls Got Rhythm actually charted better than Highway to Hell. And we all think of Highway to Hell, at least I do, as the iconic song off of this. So on this album, what makes it a little more unique was they brought on Robert Mutt Lang to produce, and this album definitely has a little more sheen to it. But I would say he left the grit visible. It's a very good, like he tuned them up a little bit, but they still sound, like AC/DC. They still got that flat out R&B, blues boogie to them, and killer riff. So I think this album's really accessible, and I think a lot of people agreed. 7 million copies in the U.S. and 10 million worldwide on this. So pick up Highway to Hell. And the best press of it,
Leland.
And the best press of it is the OG.
And I'm sure you mentioned Mutt Lang. You mentioned Mutt Lang, and I'm sure we're going to talk about Mutt Lang many more times throughout this.
Yeah.
Got him.
All right, Gonzo, back to you.
Listen, Gonzonator's going with a lot of the simples. There's going to be a couple of these that obviously I've talked about numerous times. 1986 was a huge year musically. And for whatever reason, 1986 was a pretty big year for me. You got to remember, I am a child of the 80s, a teen of the 90s. And in the 80s, my brother and I lived off MTV. So I present another MTV darling in an album from the iconic year of 1986. And that would be a one, Paul Simon's Graceland. Some cite Graceland, y'all, as the greatest album of all time. Now, I personally don't agree with that. I do think it is within the list. I don't know if it's the greatest of all time out of every record that's been made, but it definitely goes on a list of all-time greats. This bad boy was released August 25th, 1986. And y'all know the hits. It had Graceland, You Can Call Me Al, Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes. You've got Boy in a Bubble, which Boy in a Bubble, good song, but the first three were the ones I loved. And what I grew up with, obviously, I grew up with You Can Call Me Al because I am a huge Chevy Chase fan. And that music video with the two of them, I loved. I mean, as a 9-year-old kid, I laughed nonstop every time I saw it. But what people don't realize about Graceland is that, and I wish my camera, I could just slide the record here, right? Because my lighting is not phenomenal. So sorry if you can't see my face. But a lot of people wrote Paul Simon off after Hearts and Bones, which did not do well. And he was obviously going through a divorce with Carrie Fisher, so he has a second failed marriage. He has an album that flops, and people basically were like, Paul Simon's done. And then he more or less regroups and he comes up with this album. And basically what he does is, he explores the loss, and healing, searching for meaning in life, blends, cultural themes together, a lot of African beats. And, I've always been a big component of timing is everything. And the timing couldn't have been better with this record.
Gonzo, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
We didn't talk about this, but I was just sitting there thinking about this album, and yes, it had singles and videos and everything, but this strikes me as probably the first album we presented tonight that you should just, it's an experience as an album, and it should be listened to
100%
as an album. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's one that you go start to finish. It's not just, play a couple of singles, listen to the entire album. And that might be another show down the road with regards to albums to really get the full listening experience. Like, great example, we talked about today, right? We talked about, when we were going on about the Pink Floyd albums, and the one that would be, that one album that if you really kind of were trying to get it out to the masses, and both hands down, we were like, wish you were here, right? It's a start to finish, type of experience.
And
this
album
album
definitely an awesome topic, because nowadays
is
with
one of them.
streaming, you listen to one song, 2 songs, and you're done.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
kinda don't get
That's what makes me think Graceland is a great album. Is it has a unique sound to it because of the South African influences and
And
stuff.
Chris made a good point. Rhythm of the Saints is a great album, but also to me, this is how I remembered Rhythm of the Saints. It almost felt like it got pushed aside and was just kind of like on the back burner, but was also an equally good record. I don't think it's as good as Graceland. I don't think anything tops Graceland, but what a way to because I actually think Graceland, if I'm not mistaken, I think Graceland was the album of the year in 1986. It beat out Peter Gabriel's So, which is going into my next album, 1986, which Peter Gabriel's So was completely different than his prior albums. This one came out May 19th, 1986. Obviously had the bangers. You will say that tonight, Scott. Big Time, In Your Eyes, Sledgehammer, Red Rain, and Don't Give Up, which saw that video on MTV with Kate Bush. So peaked at number 2 in the U.S. charts. And I think it had sold about 5 million copies in the U.S. alone. And again, here's what's kind of unique about this album as well. This album, too, y'all, has, kind of world music themes as well. And this came out prior, if I remember correctly, this came out prior to Graceland. And Paul beat Peter out. Peter Gabriel did not get Best Album, although he did win, I think. He might have gotten Best Song for Best Song, or I know Video of the Year, I think, for Sledgehammer. I know it won. It took a lot of awards.
And Sledgehammer was a number 1 song.
But again,
and
another
the video
MTV
was
darling, right? Sledgehammer, that music video was an absolute breakthrough when MTV videos obviously were in like full swing. I couldn't get enough of it. The other thing that Scott talked about, and I know we try to go about 45 seconds to a minute on each record, But my question to Scott was, listen, what's crazy is that album came out in 1986. Okay. It spawned 4 top 30 hits, y'all. 3 of those top 30 hits were in the top 10. In Your Eyes was not one of those songs within the top 10. When Say Anything came out in 1989 with John Cusack, Cameron Crowe directed, and we all know Cameron Crowe puts together just badass soundtrack compilations. In Your Eyes, iconic boombox stereo, it went number 1. So 3 years after it was released, a movie comes out, features that song, and it goes number 1. That's how I found out about Peter Gabriel's So, was because of that song.
And that song almost wasn't part of the movie.
That's correct.
They were working on several other titles. One of them was Boning in the Boneyard by Fishbone and To Be a Lover by Billy Idol. Those were some of the things he was considering first, and then somehow ended up with, thank goodness, because In Your Eyes was perfect for the movie.
Perfect.
It's
Absolutely
unbelievable.
perfect.
Yeah.
You couldn't have put a better song there.
There's
And I
some
saw him
interesting
live.
videos that they talk about. You need to check out some of those videos.
Yeah, I saw him live in 1990, I think summer of 93 during his Us tour. And prior to seeing Oasis this month, Peter Gabriel was probably my best concert. Unbelievable. Such a showman. And I wish he would come back to the States because I would love to see him.
All right. So now, I mean, because we're falling a little behind, but that's fine. We're not slaves to the time, but we need to definitely go on to the next, which would be Scott, your next 2 selections. And some of these things will end up, through all our shows, we'll be coming back to these albums in different forms.
Yeah.
And like soundtracks and all that kind of stuff. So we'll definitely discuss the song choice at some point.
All right. Well, might as well do this one. We've talked about Mutt Lange once tonight. Let's talk about Mutt Lange again.
There you go.
Here we go. Def Leppard, Hysteria. Why Hysteria? Because when you think about it, it really is quite the. You talk about something being over the top, like Swift's Era Tours or something. Sometimes artists just do things over the top. This album is really just way over the top. Production, all the guitar layers, all the vocal layers, all the precision and how the song sounds. I know some people don't like that and they prefer like the high and dry Def Leppard, or maybe they're a Pyromania fan. And I just feel like this is the evolution. You heard this coming on Pyromania. Come on, rock till you drops, just a not as polished version of Pour Some Sugar on Me. And so I love it. I love a well-produced album. I like a little grit to an album too, but there's something beautiful. And this one is, in my mind, one of the best produced albums ever. It's just the soaring vocals and how demanding Mutt Lange is in the studio, that everything be exactly perfect. So we'll go with this one. I think the fans agreed. 12 million copies have sold of this in the U.S., 25 million worldwide. Of course.
Yes, Chris, I say yes. Hysteria is better.
6 top 20 hits off of this record.
6
number ones. Of course, Pour Some Sugar on Me, and the follow-up, Love Bites, was a number 1 song. So, wow. The whole record is very listenable. My favorite songs on it personally are Animal and Love and Affection. So I go off from some of the main singles, but that's what makes it so good. The non-singles are outstanding too, So we'll go this one. It's kind of maybe the best example of slick glam rock when it all comes together.
Yeah.
And if there was a seller on Whatnot once that had all the 45s. All the 45s with the picture disc makes a giant mosaic of the actual album cover. So on the wall, he had all his 45s lined up perfectly and mirrored that cover. So collect all of them, and you can do that too.
All right. Next one for me is an artist I absolutely love. Was one of my main top 3 people growing up in junior high and high school, and that's John Cougar Mellencamp. And we went with Scarecrow, and Scarecrow. When you think about it, you just might listen to the singles, and the singles on this were, Lonely Old Night, Rain on the Scarecrow, Small Town, probably, one of the more popular ones, and of course ROCK in the USA was a huge hit. I think it was made it to number 2. It was 6 singles that came off of this record. But what I like about this record, and I don't think a lot of people think about it this way, it's almost a concept record. It's definitely the Mellencamp album where you listen to it and you say, small town USA. It talks about farming. It talks about riding a train. It talks about his grandma does a little theme thing on here, minutes to memories. And it's all about the nostalgia around small town, bringing his model wife to live in a small town in Indiana.
Pure
I just think,
Americana.
yeah, America, Heartland done outstanding.
And, eating chili dogs about by the Tasty Freeze too, right?
Yeah,
Sucking on a chili dog.
The one of the real bonuses about this is to be able the backbeat that Kenny Aronoff puts into John Cougar Mellencamp. It rises it up. Without Kenny Aronoff, I don't think Mellencamp would have been as popular. That drumming is serious on that. So, some of the best feels in rock music, Kenny Aronoff. All right,
May I just go ahead and say,
all right,
sucking on chili dog, sucking on a chili dog, a sucking on chili dog, a sucking on a chili dog.
I would, but you do know that's a different album.
It is. There's a YouTube video of a band that was doing like a sound check, and that's what he was doing. Sucking on chili dog, a sucking on a chili dog.
All right, so the next one up, this sing along. There's so many good sing alongs on this, often done in karaoke. Sometimes very well, sometimes not so well. But is "Shake Your Money Maker." I mean, this was 1990, so I'm still in high school at that time. It sold over 6 million copies worldwide. But she talks to angels. She tells you she's an orphan after you meet her family. You know the words. You always want to sing along. Hard to Handle, Jealous Again. I mean, it's just a bluesy, rockin', badass album. I mean, this is one I definitely had to, as soon as I got this right away. This is a reissue. Did it come out, and was there an OG of this in the 90s? Because
yes,
it
wasn't cheap.
Yeah. Pricey.
Yeah. Thorn in My Pride, Remedy. It peaked at album as number 4 on the Billboard 200. Remedy was number 1 on the Billboard album rock tracks, which is Remedy. Am I reading the wrong thing here?
Yeah, Remedy. I mean, that's just one of the most badass blues-based rock records ever. If it was a car, it'd have definitely a V8 and wide tires. It's bad.
Oh yeah, I mean, you listen to a lot of their albums, right? I mean, they really kind of bring that 70s Stones, Rolling Stones kind of sound, but really kind of put it in just a hard punch blues feel, right?
Yep.
And when I do karaoke, I always have someone singing Hard to Handle. And it just rocks.
Yeah, who originally Hard to Handle? Who's that originally? Who wrote that?
Yeah, who was the original? I know it's a remake.
Is that is it Wilson Pickett, or is it
Where's Joe? Joe would know.
Doc of the Bay guy? I mean, I feel like it's one of the old blue Otis Redding. Okay, yeah.
Otis Redding. Yeah. Joe it's almost time for his bedtime, but thank you for staying up, Joe. We appreciate it. But yeah, that one is to me is a must own. Definitely a must own. All right, where did I go? The first ones I went to. So the next one I'm gonna go with Huey Lewis, because my Hooters album talk has death involved again, but a little different. So Huey Lewis, amazing album. I don't know if I consider it my favorite of all of them, but again, it is a great album. You have the Heart of Rock and Roll, Heart and Soul, I Want a New Drug. Um, it's just a great album, and luckily I've been fortunate enough that I was able to see him perform twice right before he had to stop touring. Unfortunately, he developed a inner ear disorder that really doesn't allow him to like play music because you have to be able to listen to it as you're singing and performing. So there's days where he can and there's days he can't. So he no longer tours, so you can't see him. And I was fortunate enough because he opened up for, which sounds weird because Huey Lewis is far more successful musically than Jimmy Buffett. And here he was opening up for Jimmy Buffett. And luckily I got to see him twice and I had planned on going to see him live on my own, like a full concert. But unfortunately, then he was diagnosed with that inner ear disorder. Um, and this was 1983, if I remember right. 1983. Um, let's see. And it was a number one album on the Billboard 200. Now, was that during Back to the Future? When did Back to the Future come out, Gonzo?
85.
85.
Yeah.
So this came out 2 or 3 years before that. But I'm sure it came back to life when when Back to the Future came on and was Huey Lewis was all over that soundtrack and is even in the movie. But this came out
He was the
September
judge.
15th, so it is I can't do math anymore. 42 years ago.
Yeah.
So
We're
I
old.
mean, I Want a New Drug was just everywhere. You could not escape that song.
yeah. Thus the number one on the Billboard charts.
And interesting because they kind of build up. Sports was huge, and then they had the soundtrack song on Back to the Future, and they did the Ghostbusters movie, and they asked, they wanted Huey Lewis and the News to do the theme song. They turned it down. Then they got Ray Parker to do it, and they actually told him, write a song like I Want a New Drug, and he wrote Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's cool.
And he gets all those royalties go to Huey Lewis now.
Do they really?
Yes.
So they took it to court.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
And they won.
We should do a comparison on the two one of those shows.
Yeah, because you off the top of your head, you're like, well, they're not that much alike. But apparently
then if
they
you start
were.
to listen to it, you kind of pick up, especially when they wanted Huey Lewis, he said no. And then, how do you win that court case? We wanted to hire him. He said no, so we reproduced our version of Huey Lewis singing the song.
Yeah.
All right.
Gonzo, you're up.
One of my all-time favorite albums ever. And this also another true listening experience. And I'm talking about a man with an angelic voice, probably one of the greatest voices ever on this planet. And that is Jeff Buckley's Grace. This was August 23rd, 1994. Obviously, it's got hits. Lover, You Should Come Over, Last Goodbye, So Real, which was my favorite song, and Grace. He was, in a lot of ways, Jeff Buckley was kind of in the shadows of his father, Tim Buckley. I mean, those who know Tim Buckley, folk singer, he had, I think, fairly mild success. Died of a heroin overdose, and Jeff Buckley never really had much of a relationship with his dad. He was aware of his dad, knew of his dad's success, right? But always wanted to kind of stay out of the shadows. And he did a lot of performing in New York. He performed a lot at I believe it was Cafe Sine, I believe, and there's a live album that he did there, which just he and a guitar. But I mean, the guy, he didn't really need to have a band. His voice was his instrument, and he was an amazing guitarist as well. And a lot of his themes, obviously, he was very jazz influenced, which I loved. But his themes really talked a lot about, again, love, loss. He had a lot of longing in it, right? There was a lot of, juxtaposition of beauty and pain involved. And to me, in my opinion, it's a very spiritual album, right? And the thing about this is what's crazy is when the album came out in 1994, I never knew about it. I don't recall ever listening to anything on the radio. I think it was a freshman or sophomore. I didn't find Jeff Buckley until 1999. And when I first heard this record, I couldn't believe it. But it had, and here's the thing, it was modestly successful. But after his death, obviously, he really, you really saw the album sales kind of jump over time. So with Jeff and this album, this to me is a listening experience. Yep, you'll notice I didn't mention Hallelujah. Hallelujah is really, it's not my favorite song on this album. It's probably like my fourth or fifth favorite. Now, I will agree with you, Chris. It's a better cover than Leonard Cohen's original. But that's what's great about Jeff Buckley. I don't think anyone covers songs better than this man. He covered a lot of Van Morrison. He covered a lot of Bob Dylan. And I think his covers are spot on, some of the best.
Well, Jake, would you say that's another album that it's a
start to finish?
Yeah, consume all at once, because it
100%.
has a vibe to it.
It has a vibe. And here's the thing. I have tried for the longest time. I have tried to compare it to other albums, and I can't. Like, you think about the music that was out in 1994. We were in the midst of grunge, right? This album is a complete departure from that. It's its own thing. And I think that's what I loved about it. It's just an angelic album. And, I'm sad because I would have loved to have heard a lot of what he would have done, in the future had he not drowned.
And you don't have to be embarrassed if you've never heard it before, because I've heard the Hallelujah or whatever, but I listened to it really for the first time, like 3 weeks ago, and I was totally blown away on this album. Totally blown away. And now it has to be in my collection.
Yeah, it's a staple.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
If you don't have Jeff Buckley, you're not familiar with Jeff Buckley. He's one of those. Grace obviously is a must-buy. I would definitely say start there, listen to it. He was working on a second album called Sketches for My Sweetheart the Drunk, which was an album he was working on at the time, I think, when he was in Nashville. And when his band was mid-flight to go and finish their recordings, he went for a swim with his boots on, and the currents took him. And sadly enough, we lost. It's one of those deaths that you wish it would have never happened, but you wonder really what would he have been doing today. So moving on from that, we'll go into a classic that I think everybody already has. It is by far my favorite Led Zeppelin album, and that is Led Zeppelin 2. And this came out October 22nd, 1969. Another great year for music. And obviously, y'all know all the hits, right? You've got Whole Lotta Love. You've got What Is and What Should Never Be. You have Heartbreaker, Thank You, Ramble On. And again, this is something that, I think Scott and I talked about a lot of this. When you go back and you really look at a lot of the records that came out in the mid to late 60s, one of the themes that we keep coming back to is love, right? And it did explore, love and relationships and the intertwining of myth and reality, right? And they really, pioneered, that rock and blues sound on this record. Zeppelin 1 really was kind of the start, like, here we are. And I mean, they came out of nowhere, essentially. And by the time this record came out, I mean, they had pretty much established themselves as a powerhouse. And I know everybody here has it. I know everyone here has the album, so I don't have to tell you to go and buy it. But a lot of people regard this as probably one of the greatest albums of all time. And I tend to agree with that. I would probably put this as one of the greatest records ever made. Jimmy Page did an amazing job producing this. And if you don't have it, what are you doing? Go get it.
Now, my next question is, would you put a Ludwig at a totally different level than the regular release because it's so. I don't want to.
Kroger, that is a sealed 19. I think it's a sealed 1977 reissue that I had there.
Yeah.
It is unopened.
Now, Terry, you were asking about the Jeff Buckley. It's readily available everywhere. There's creative reissues. I just bought one for a gift 2 weeks ago, so that
You can get it for like
you get
20,
it for
24,
20.
25 bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so worth it. Like all three of us and those that are in the chat will probably tell you, if you haven't listened to it, please get it. It will move you. It moved me, but I'm easily moved.
It's amazing.
And relatively inexpensive to get one. I don't know if there's an OG. I don't know, but
now I'll tell you what. Before Scott goes on, because I thought I had my 8th record and I sold it and I have no copies, he's going to do an extra one. I'll go ahead and do my last record. And I want to end off on this one because it's one of my favorite artists of all time. And I want to bring him out. I did a little bit when I had some of his reissues because he only did 3 albums. Chris probably knows who I'm talking about. He only did 3 albums before he tragically, died of a accidental overdose, Bette Midler. But his last and final album by far was his best. And he pretty much came in with an acoustic guitar. And he recorded this album really in a matter of hours. I think it was done within like a 10-hour time frame. And it's a very short record, but it is a beautiful record. And that is Nick Drake's Pink Moon. And this album came out in February of 1972. And the thing about Nick Drake is that, a lot of you that are familiar with him, he suffered from significant depression. And he did not tour a lot. In fact, he hated touring. He didn't like really interacting with people. And a lot of the times, because of his music, right, every song, he had to constantly tune his guitar. And he would perform in bars, and people would generally be talking over him. He didn't really ever get involved much with the crowd. But because he didn't like to tour and essentially stopped doing it, like, they couldn't really promote the heck out of him. All 3 of his releases, they were all considered flops. And at the time this album was released in 1972, it is estimated in the UK alone, he only sold about 2,000 copies. And then in 2000, which is when I found out about him, I was watching TV just like anybody, and a Volkswagen commercial came on, and Pink Moon was the song that played. And for whatever reason, it struck a chord with me. And I'm like, who is that? That commercial alone brought his album sales from, let's say, 6,000 to 74,000. And Brad Pitt, oddly enough, is a huge Nick Drake fan. And he really, I think, promoted, did a lot of promoting to kind of bring him to the forefront in the States. But I love this album. And I wanted to pick this because I know there are a lot of you that have probably never heard of them. But the entire album is great. But some of the songs that they're known for mainly, that he's known for, is obviously the title track, Pink Moon. Place to Be is a great song on there. And then Things Behind the Sun, which was a song that I loved as well. But it's all acoustic. There is a little bit of piano on Pink Moon, but it's very short-lived. But again, if you want to hear something great, great guitar player, an amazing finger picking style, and an amazing voice. Great record to have. This is a 1976 UK repress. Hard one to find, but they've got reissues out there that you can find for like 20, 25 bucks. Please go buy it. Please.
Yeah, it's a very enjoyable record and a great example of like a singer-songwriter with an acoustic guitar, and you're just listening. It just sounds good. Not every record that we choose will be a record that's sold 25 gazillion and had 7 top 10 hits.
like the rentals, Return of the Rentals.
And some that we will not pick fall in that category too. I didn't even argue with Jake. That was a late substitution, but he threw it out. And what did I say? Yeah,
He's
that's
like,
gonna
oh,
make the
please,
list.
please do.
Yeah. $1 start. Yeah. Well, if you didn't know, that's probably true. There was probably a day you could buy those Nick Drake records for $1 or $2 there for a short period. If you can find them, not a lot of them were sold.
Yep. Yeah, you find a 1972 original. Those records are upwards between $800 to $1,000. The 76 UK reissues that I have, they usually are within like I would say probably like the $300 to $450 range. And they all, again, the represses, they came off the same stamper. So technically,
they didn't have.
It's
They
going to
didn't
sound
sample
like
that
the
many,
original.
the stamper still worked.
This might be a good time to just find you a high quality $3 CD.
Yeah, oh yeah. Or you can look. I have I've got a brighter lighter reissue.
Yeah.
And I think I spent $24 on it.
Yeah. All right. So I guess I'm up, and Shark can tell me how many I'm supposed to do. I have 2 in front of me, and then I got a couple. So I think it'll be
one more after that.
I have 4 I have 4 left.
Okay. So I'll do 2, you do 2, and come back to me for 2 more, and then we'll go to you. Okay. So here we got Billy Squier, Don't Say No, 1981. Over the course of its time, it sold 3 million in the U.S. There you go. You know, a song. It is interesting to discover music before you were born, or before you were music aware, put it that way, and then live through it. Like, I just remember when The Stroke first came on the radio, I'm like, what the heck is this song? And I was like, at first I was like, what is it about? So if you actually listen to the words, it's about the music industry. How, it's all glad-handed. And this is true, probably has been true of the music industry forever. That, you got to get lucky and somebody's got to help you, and everybody's getting the palms greased and all that. So that song was everywhere, massive hit. The Stroke was a massive hit. But I really love about this, if you look at this is the Intervention press, which is a great audiophile press. On the hype sticker, it says, includes the hits, The Stroke, In the Dark, My Kind of Lover, and Lonely is the Night. The problem is, Lonely is the Night was not a single on this album. Never charted. Might be one of the best songs on the record. I don't know why they didn't pick it as a follow-up song. So what I love about this album, this has you talking about a studio. I don't know for sure. I wish I did. I imagine that this record was recorded in a bigger room. It sounds like it's recorded in a bigger room because it has that feel like the whole band is in there together.
Yeah.
You hear some air in there, and there's just a lot of rawness. There's rawness to the guitars, and there's rawness to the vocals. It sounds like live vocals, like they haven't put a lot of compression or reverb on him. So that's one of the reasons. I mean, other than the songs are great, even the album cuts are really good on this record. And it sounds fantastic.
I'll be honest with you, Scott. When I bought that album from you and listened to it, I will 100% agree with you on this. That's the copy to get. That's the copy to get.
And I told you got to get that copy because I lucked out and got that same press for $5.
Hold up, wait, what?
$50 record.
He didn't get it for me for $5, Jake.
You still have one in your store?
I still have one left. Just amazed.
Like this album and you want the best sounding copy, that's the one.
All right. I guess I'm the Mutt Lang guy tonight. Here's my next album.
You are.
Foreigner 4.
There it is.
Another Mutt Lang produced record. And I've told Jake and Sean this story. Is I had this memory, and I asked my wife, "Hey, will you look up?" We were just sitting on the couch one. I said, "Will you look up and see when Journey, Escape, and Foreigner 4 were released?" I said, "In my mind, I went to the record store and bought those records on the same day."
Yeah.
And she looked it up, and she got back. She goes, "Well, you probably did. They were released 2 weeks apart." And I've always had that in my mind as the greatest record store day in my life, because back in the day, kids, we didn't know what all the songs on the record were. We used to have to hear
You
one,
had to go to the store.
maybe two. Yeah, one, two songs. Maybe you get lucky and the record store's playing it when you're in there, but mostly you were buying a record based off of hearing one or two songs
Yep.
on the radio. So, same thing here. I think Urgent was out as the single for this one. I think Don't Stop Believing was it the first single? I think it was the first single. So two great iconic songs, right? But took them home and listened to them and was blown away by both. Now, over time, this one has edged a little further ahead because I think as a complete album, don't get me wrong, Escape is a great record, but this one really has no weakness. It had Waiting on a Girl Like You. I mean, they still play that today. Number 2 song. Urgent, number 4. Jukebox Hero, 26th. Break It Up, great arena rock song, 26. And also, what really makes it stand out, though, is you had songs that were not singles, but could have been, like the lead track, Nightlife, and Woman in Black, and Girl on the Moon. So 6 million sold in the US, 10 million worldwide, produced by Mutt Lange. Just another one of these. Drop the needle. I think Chris said this earlier. Drop the needle and just sit back and listen. Great record.
Absolutely.
All right. So the next album I have is an album I always tell people they should get. It only sold 2 million copies worldwide, but it is a great album. There's just that moment, that one little difference that makes it go from, a great album to mainstream playing on MTV all the time. This band, I think that video might have shown twice. I don't know. It wasn't that many times that MTV had the video. Is Hooters. This is Nervous Nights, right? Nervous Nights, and I need to switch. Hold on,
I
guys.
did it.
Thank you. Nervous Nights, and of course you can get it pretty cheap. This was pre-pandemic. I paid $3 for it. So it's a sub $10 record. But there's so many great songs, and like "And We Dance" is a great song. "Day by Day," "All You Zombies," "Where Do the Children Grow," and maybe it was the mandolin or the squeeze box that prevented them from really being big time. Because in the early '80s, you had to get the play on MTV. You basically had to bribe this group of young individuals in this little room making choices on, I don't know if it was a Thursday night or Friday night, and what videos get played, what ones don't. And it obviously politics always gets involved, and there's even joke videos of there's a video of Steven Tyler with a bag of money going to these individuals at MTV. Please play my video, please. Um, but they didn't get quite the airplay, and I really think that they should have, because the mix of with the mandolin, and it all just ties in amazingly. And they're still touring today. They just actually released an album, what, 2 weeks ago? They're a Philly band, and they still live locally. I've actually have had a mutual acquaintance of theirs. Unfortunately, he had passed away, but when I was in line, everything's about death sometimes. They were standing. There was two of them in front of me and two of them behind me, and they just had that weathered look. And yeah, so I got to meet them. It was right before the pandemic, so I got to meet them, and they're great guys. I mean, I couldn't talk to them that much. It's a wake, but pick it up, guys. It's very inexpensive, and you'll be surprised how well it is. It unfortunately never got any awards or anything like that, but I mean, I really think it deserves some much more recognition. So
Yeah.
pick one up and give it a listen, because it
You
is.
know, the thing about that record, Sean, is I always think like I put them in the same vein. Not that they sound the same, but they're it's power pop rock, right?
Yeah.
And it's the Outfield, and they both had killer singles that were big. And You Danced and Your Love for the Outfield. But I'm gonna say this: I don't know that the Outfield made an album as good as Nervous Night. The album cuts on that Blood from a Stone. Don't take my car out tonight. Really, really good.
So you're taking Nervous Night over Play Deep.
I am, and I love the Outfield.
Really.
And
I just think this is a great
that's
album.
An old statement there. I like that.
So I want someone to listen to this record, especially the first side. I mean, is amazing, and tell me compared to things that came out around the same time, and like this was 1985, and tell me this may be you might like a lot more than other albums that you've heard, and just never really got to hear this one. So please give this one a try.
Play that one.
Please.
Yep. And like you said, you can pick it up on Whatnot for $5 to $7 usually. I see it all the time.
A pizza box that they signed, really. I could have had them sign the weight card. I could have them sign the weight card, but that would have been a little awkward. The next album, I guess I'm kind of I'm telling you should have it, and I went to look into my collection, and I don't have it. I don't know if I've been waiting because I wanted to get the OG, but I made a
I thought you were going
a redneck version of the album right here. And we'll let him hold that up.
I can grab mine too. We can hold them up together.
This one, I immediately go back to the music video. That girl on the skateboard going back and forth. I mean, yeah. I remember that. Yeah. So this peaked at number 3 in the Billboard 200. I Won't Back Down, Free Fallin', and Running Down a Dream. I mean, just think how great all those songs are. I mean, he had great songs, 70s, early 80s, 70s, amazing songs, and he was kind of tapering off from like being mainstream. And then this album come up, and then Tom Petty was there couldn't be anyone better at that point with Tom Petty.
He was so heavily influenced too by Jeff Lynne and the sound of Cloud 9.
Right? Yeah, Jeff Lynne produced this with him.
He did.
So that's why you get that. And on here, the notes, it says encapsulates themes of love, freedom, and resilience. I mean, just think of that, the beginning of Free Falling in that video. I mean, I just immediately see it. I can hear it.
Yeah, and enough Mike Campbell on this to, get the connection to the Heartbreakers. I mean, this is not a Heartbreakers album, but
it's not, but Campbell's all over it.
Yeah, Mike Campbell, Jeff Lynne. I have a little bit of story about this album. I didn't know I was in the Army, and my lieutenant asked us, had our team over for dinner at his apartment, and he was playing this record. And of course I knew Tom Petty, but I was in the middle of the Army. It's sometimes you're not connected. So as we were going, talking to him, he was playing this record, and I was just saying, Lieutenant, what is this Tom Petty record? And he said, oh, it's his new album. It's Full Moon Fever. I was just blown away the first time I heard this album. So definitely one that everybody should have.
And there's a reissue so that you can get them pretty inexpensive.
I would tell you this, right, is you listen to that album, you go in and you listen to George Harrison's Cloud 9, you can hear Jeff Lynne's influence. I mean, the sound, it's all over. And that was the thing. Tom Petty heard that album and was blown away by it and wanted that sound. And look what came from it.
And you have the Jeff Lynne sound on the Wilburys album, too.
Yes, you do.
That's the Jeff Lynne sound.
That's it.
So, yeah.
All right. Then I think you have 2 to go over there, and I have 2 left.
Okay, so I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by this one. Brothers in Arms, Dire Straits. What I like about this, and Sean was right when he pegged my listening profile. I am not a, first press Winchester, find the OG. I'm like, if that's the best press, I'll probably try to find it. But I think there's a lot of mythology in record collecting, just put it that way. And one of the things that's mythology is analog is always better than digital. And I always think, well, analog digital probably plays a factor, but it's whether an album is recorded well. Is it produced well? So engineering, production, and then is it pressed well if we're talking about vinyl.
Yeah.
And this record just blows that out of the water. This is a digital sourced record and one of the best sounding records you'll ever hear in your life. So I don't buy it. We had isn't I could be wrong. Isn't Graceland a digital recorded album too?
It
But we're
probably
gonna have
is. That was the trend, and they were, and records would brag, and it would say digital recording, and they loved that, and they would put it on the front of the cover or on the back.
Yeah,
bragging about
you'd see them on the CDs,
Yeah. And that's why I say it's a myth. There's too many examples of terrific sounding digital albums. This probably being the one that everybody talks about first is Brothers in Arms. That's a digital recording. So 1985 on this, produced by Mark Knopfler and Neil Dorsworth. The songs So Far Away, beautiful mid-tempo song. Walk of Life. Who doesn't like that little jangling guitar in Walking Life? If that can't get you going.
And then everybody loves the bloopers, right? Everybody loved the music video. I did.
Yeah, it was cool. And then of course the mega hit, all the way I can describe it is when you cannot escape a song, you could not escape this Money for Nothing. That was everywhere you went. I guess I'm trying to think about like something recent, but genres are so split now that songs don't always dominate so much. But maybe a few years ago, 10 years ago, like Hey Soul Sister, like were you not annoyed? Like I love Train, but no, please do not play Hey Soul Sister. No, not one more time this summer, please.
Probably my least favorite song of theirs, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, so this is a great sounding record. Brothers in Arms is a beautiful song too. Another really good listen. All the Dire Straits records are well produced, well recorded. Whether you get the OGs or the represses, they all sound pretty good. Now some of them are going to sound better than others. This is the one I prefer for this one.
Now have you listened to the Abbey Road Half-Speed Master compared to this?
I almost bought it the other day just to do that, but
I've heard that one, they like that one better than this one. But
see,
again, subjective. But
it is, and I'm a little gun shy on Half-Speed Masters because some of the ones I picked up, like the Who Next, I thought that sounded like ass. I mean, it was horrible.
And maybe that's why the Who is releasing all their titles now.
I go back to Robin Trower, Bridge of Sighs.
Yeah.
The 50th Half-Speed remaster. Horrible.
Now, with this one, though, the OG, the Robert Ludwig press, sounds amazing.
Yeah, the OG does sound good on this. Yeah. I do have an OG of that record, too. And, it's so well done, you'd really have to mess it up for it to sound bad. But Jake's right. Like, sometimes they do a great job on these, like Rhino Hi-Fi is killing these reissues, but some of these reissues sound flat. I'll give a brief example. I love Rock and Roll Animal by Lou Reed, right? I had the what's the name of that kind of vinyl it's on?
What, the Dynaflex?
The Duraflex?
Yeah, I had the Dynaflex one, and I thought, I'll get the record store day reissue. So I bought the record store day reissue, and like an idiot, before I listened to it, I sold the Dynaflex on one of my shows. Then I listened to the record store. Sounds like somebody has their hand over the speaker. It is so muffled. So now I'm on the search for, I got to get the Dynaflex back. So anybody that has a near mint minus Dynaflex of Lou Reed Rock and Roll Animal, look me up.
Chris might have one. Chris is a pretty eclectic collection.
It can't even be sealed.
It could be sealed.
Okay, so Chris, great. Thank you for the research on that. So I'm going to say the Purity Police then. Nope. They're not going to call that an analog record then. Not me. I don't really care, but there are people that are way too snobby about that, in my opinion. All right. Here's my last record.
Did you buy
REM. I did get this from you. No, I got it from Jake. I bought it from Jake.
You did, yes.
Yeah, I think he greatly overcharged me for it too. No, I'm just kidding.
For you? Yeah. Absolutely.
So this is a deluxe version of Out of Time. REM. And this, I was telling them before the show, I have some records. I was in the military from 88 to 92. And I was in Germany from 89 to 92. And this was a, German army. I wasn't in the German army, but the American army in Germany released for me. And I am a sucker for a mandolin. So when I heard that mandolin, which that's what kicks this losing your religion off, and the mysterious losing your religion. What's this song about? And I never did figure it out because you couldn't hardly understand Michael Stipe anyway, and they would never print their lyrics in their songs, so they were
Right.
famous for not doing that. But I will say this. He did say subsequently, and I didn't know this. I guess losing your religion is a Southern experience. I mean, a Southern expression, and it just means losing your base, like you're losing what you're about. So it makes sense. A beautiful song, but this album's pretty controversial with some of the REM crowd because they think it's too poppy. But when we were looking at albums, we are saying, well, what's the most accessible? This one is extremely accessible. I mean, it's
Yep.
got that song. It's got Shiny Happy People, which some people hate that song. I like it. I like Kate Pearson's vocals on it. It's the poppiest song that REM ever did, but I like it. But the album cuts, Near Wild Heaven is on here, like country song. To me, I put this on and I enjoy it as a record. I don't feel the need like, oh, I don't like this song. I like all the songs on it. I actually think it's very good. And if I was building a 500 collection for somebody new to music, I would want to get them hooked on REM, and I think this would get them hooked on REM, and then maybe they go to Document or Green or Automatic for the People. But anyway, Out of Time is my choice.
All right. I guess I'm up next. Aerosmith Pump. I own the record. I don't know where it is. I have a OG press, and this is really kind of the resurgence of Aerosmith. I mean, you had Done with Mirrors it didn't go where it needed to go. It kind of just wasn't a great album, and they came out with Permanent Vacation, which I really really enjoy. But this became a next level. This was what, like bluesy rock, and they had the didgeridoo. Come on, how many albums had didgeridoos in them?
Maybe something with Midnight Oil per se.
Well, yeah, exactly. But it just kicks off with Young Lust, and it's just rocking, just musically, just the instruments is just rocking, and it just continues throughout the record, and it revitalized Aerosmith, and everyone was starting to buy all their old albums again, and yeah, it's Young Lust. They have Love in the Elevator, um, Fine, Fine, but then What It Takes. Oh my God, how many times have you sung along to What It Takes?
Such a great album.
I can't. I just start, and half the time I do it, and there's not even music playing. I'll start singing, "Girl, before I met you, I was Fine, fine." So it just resonates to me. This is part of my Wonder years. I guess that's the right
Little
word.
Janie's got a
Janie's
gun.
Got a Gun, which is a very controversial song, but yeah,
Trivia
it had
question: Who played the
The Other
mother?
Side.
Who played the mother in that music video?
It was his daughter, wasn't it?
Who played
No,
the
the daughter
parent,
was.
the mother?
Oh, I don't remember that part. But it was number one on
Leslie
Billboard.
Ann Warren.
Oh, wow.
Wow. It was number one in the Billboard Top 200. Love in the Elevator went to number 5. Jenny Got a Gun went to number 4. What It Takes went to number 9. And I like it better than Get a Grip. Get a Grip became the movie Monster Ballads, but this was just on Second Floor Hardware, children's wear, ladies lingerie. Oh, good morning, Mr. Title.
Going down.
Come on, that's in my head all the time. I mean, I don't remember a lot of things, but I remember this album like it was yesterday. US 7 million copies, worldwide over 20 million copies. So of a lot of the ones that I covered today, they mostly went to like 6 or 7 million. This one went to a new level and really put Aerosmith back on the map. They were kind of just there, but this is definitely a must-have album for me.
I
And
agree. I agree, Sean. I think of the second half of so Done with Mirrors forward, right when they got out of rehab, started their permanent vacation, and this came, and then they did the second half of Aerosmith. They never executed as well as they did on this album. Like the songs are strong, the playing is strong. It's put together with the little intros that they added to like three different songs. Um, I think hands down the best latter half
yeah, it
Aerosmith
just
album.
rocks. And it got them the movie ballads. Then they then became the movie ballads and introduced Alicia Silverstone to the rest of the world. But this album
That
is
is
just
true.
come on, take me to the other side, and
Oh,
but
that's a
just
great
what it
song.
takes. I was at a wedding and we all at the table just went nuts singing that song, and everyone in the whole wedding just started looking at us like, "What the heck are these people doing?" But we're all part of Air Force One, so buy it. It's a must-have.
Aerosmith pump.
Because you get the '70s ones that they're all great, but this is just, and then it's kind of kind of like the Black Crowes. It kind of has kind of the same vibe where it rocks out bluesy, and it's just they power through the whole album. It's just awesome. All right, the next one. What is a 500 list without David Bowie? Um, this one is, and this one I got is I think it's the 40th anniversary or reissue of Ziggy Stardust. Um, because it's funny with like where we with on our whatnot, you know, Bowie kind of takes a back seat, and it kind of blows my mind that that happens. But this came out in June of 1972, a year before I was born. Um, and worldwide sales 10 million copies when it came out, where Aerosmith was 20, which is crazy. But Starman, Suffragette City, Rock and Roll Suicide, um, and then what's surprising too is it only reached I think number 75 on the Billboard 200.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
It
Starman
just
was 65, Suffragette City was 70. Um,
which
again,
5 years is probably my favorite song on the album.
5 years is great.
5 years.
It's unbelievable.
And it's bizarre. I think over time Bowie grew and grew, and his legend grew, and he became more popular with stuff like this later on in the career. This probably sold a lot more records in the 90s and 80s, late 80s, than it did when it came out.
It sells a lot of records today.
Oh yeah,
I mean that thing is getting repressed all the time, and and it's a fantastic. I know, we
Mick Ronson, baby.
yeah,
oh yeah, Mick Ronson.
that was the Mick Ronson and Bowie together was just dynamite.
What a duo, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you really think about that, right? You really think about just those riffs, the guitar work Mick Ronson did with Bowie. You kind of put it up there with Randy Rhoads with Ozzy Osbourne, right? You just have that chemistry. So ahead of his time. I agree, Chris.
So yeah, so pick that up. That's a must have. And maybe if you're not that into it, I can see the greatest hits. I can kind of see it because there's a lot of stuff that a lot of his stuff is conceptual. It's really
Yeah.
so sometimes you don't buy into it. And his albums are definitely ones where the whole album, every song ties in throughout. And not everyone loves that. So if you don't want this, get the greatest hits. I mean, there's so many great things, but we're with our 500, we're really not going over the greatest hits albums. Well, in the future, we'll visit that. But
that soundtracks, we talked about that too. Compilations,
jazz. Yeah.
So did we run them all? I think we ran them all, right?
I think we got them all.
All right. So it definitely ran a lot longer than we had scheduled.
Yeah.
So we'll have to figure out a way to
streamline. Yeah, we might have to take a couple rounds out and stretch it out a little longer. It's make it a smaller segment.
Because we had a couple other things, like a playlist perfection with killer opening tracks, which in the future we're definitely going to cover that because. So what we're talking about is side ones, with the first song is just, I'm going to use the word, a banger.
Bangers.
And if again, follow us on Discord. Maybe you can tell us what you think the greatest
Yeah.
album with
Well,
opening track is.
Sean, there is a playlist out on Spotify.
Oh, that's right. And on Spotify. I can't forget
there's
the
a playlist out there. Shoot holes in it. I think what we're going for when we do these, thematic playlists with you guys, is we're going for 20. Right now, I have more than 20 on that first. I mean, there's some killer for opening tracks out there in the sample. Shoot holes in them. Tell us ones we missed, and we're going to try to get that. They could be living, breathing playlist, but we do want to get it massaged up and get it high quality. And I think it's decent, but I'm sure our listeners can improve it too.
And as we get better at this stuff, we'll have links for maybe even QR codes for the Spotify and Discord. And it would look a lot like this with this barcode. And this QR code does not work, by the way. But
the
in the
final
future,
option,
we'll
the
try
big
to
boy.
incorporate the playlists, Discord. When we're talking about these, giving you access to them. This just happens to be Led Zeppelin final option. We'll talk about it more in the future.
We will.
I just want to tell Chris Rush that no, I was not bad mouthing jazz. I own a lot of jazz. I'm just saying we didn't want to mix it. So there's some things like soundtracks and comps,
right?
Compilation live records that we've talked about. They will have their own list. Jazz.
And speaking of, since Chris is here, want to find a time to bring Chris in as our first guest speaker, if you will.
Guest panelist. Yeah,
that's right.
So, yeah, we want to do.
Are we going to talk about the top 5 Van Halen albums?
We are, because we're going to put this on film.
The next thing up is Scott's top 5.
All right, so we're going to do a little top 5. We're going to move this around. I'm going to do tonight's. Jake will do them. Sean will do them. Whoever has the itch to do the top 5, because you're throwing yourself out there, right? I'm going to tell you my opinion on Van Halen records, and I'm going to tell you.
First Van Halen albums.
I am. I didn't buy it brand new though, but I don't think we're going to have a lot of agreement with that, but I'm okay. It's my opinion. Therefore, I cannot be wrong. I might be ill-informed or ignorant, but I am not wrong. All right. So we're going to do this, and it wasn't easy, but number 5, I'm going to go with For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. And I like this album. It has my favorite pop rock, Sammy Hagar song on it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Pound Cake, very well.
Pound Cake is monster. Pound Cake. That song. That's a serious song. I love. There's another great hooky rock song on here, Run Around. I think Top of the World is executed a little better, and I put it right up there. Not quite Dance the Night Away quality, but it's high quality song. And of course, Right Now, which I don't know if the Hagar version of the band did a more powerful song than Right Now. All right, so that's number 5. Number 4, it was tough. Women and Children First. So Women and Children First. Why this one? First of all, I love And When the Cradle Will Rock, but I really like the other songs. I feel like it has a good gritty rock sound to it. Like Everybody Wants Some. Fools is a sleeper Van Halen cut. What's on the other side? Take Your Whiskey Home. Could This Be Magic? Some really good songs. I like when Dave went to the acoustic and sang some of those songs. I think some of those were very high quality. So number 4, I went with Women and Children First. Now, this is where it might get a little touchy with people. Number 3.
Oh, come on, dude.
I went 1984.
Give me a break.
Now,
number 1.
That just means he didn't roller skate.
Number 1.
He never roller skated, Jake.
That is true.
No, I was not in high school or junior high or preschool when Jump came out. So here's my thoughts on this record. Jump is a great pop song, definitely the poppiest song that Van Halen ever did. Monster hit, popular, hooky, You know, it's good. But to me, Panama is the song on this record. That is the
What?
Van Halen track, Panama. And here's why I don't like this record as much. And it's stylistic. I'm not a fan of the style of music that Top Jimmy and Drop Dead Legs are. Just doesn't
You
click
don't
with
put
me.
Drop Dead Legs. You don't. That song is probably one of the best songs on the album.
It doesn't appeal to me, that style. Same thing for Hot for Teacher. I mean, it's if they ever did a hair band song, Hot for Teacher was a hair band song. And I'll Wait. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like the song. Pretty weak pop rock song though. So I think it's a good album.
What's your favorite song on that album?
Oh, Panama, by doubt.
So
Panama is
yours.
the only song on here I think is great. Is Panama.
As Edward Rooney would say, thanks, Grace. I think you're wrong.
Yeah. Well, I could be wrong, and I do think my view of this album is skewed a little bit because of the style of Hot for Teacher, the style of Drop Dead Legs. I don't like that style of song, So, all right, number 2, 5150, Hagar. And I'll
agree with that for number 2.
I love that album.
It's killer. I re-listened to it today. I mean, Good Enough. What a great, that is a good song. It's not a single type song, but it's a rocking song. Of course, it has Why Can't This Be Love? And, when I re-listened to it, I realized I didn't get of this real kind of poppy, ballady song. But it's got some good guitar in it. It's got a good undercarriage to it. But songs like Dreams, Summer Nights on this side, on the one side, and then you flip it over, you got Best of Both Worlds, rocking song. Love Walks In, great mid-tempo, kind of ballady song. And then my favorite song on the album, 5150. I think is a killer Van Halen song, 5150. Just meet me halfway.
And you're going, you're going self-titled.
Self-titled, number 1, hands down, not even close. Didn't even have to think about it. It was penciled in to number 1 before I pulled them all out. Just running with the devil with that thumping bass line that kicks it off. It just tells you. And then Eruption, like back in the day, that was like, what the heck is that? Now we take it for granted because it's been out there for 40 or 50 years. Oh yeah, it's Eruption. It's great. Imagine hearing Eruption for the first time. There wasn't stuff like that necessarily around all the time. You Really Got Me. I usually do not like when bands do covers because I think if you're going to cover something, you better bring something to it. Don't give me a poor rehash of it. You Really Got Me. I think they topped the Kinks on this. And Ain't Talking About Love, another killer original, one of all-time classic.
I lost the sound.
I'm not a big fan of I'm the One, but Jamie's Crying, where he makes the guitar sound like somebody crying, and Feel Your Love Tonight, Atomic Punk, Little Dreamer, Ice Cream Man, all just
basically what you just said is 1984 is number 1. Thank you.
No, yeah, it came in. You might think they're in a race because you see them together on the track. Van Halen 1's coming up to lap them. That's what it is. That's why you.
Oh, come on. Come on.
All right, so bring it on. Let me know what you think. I respect your opinion. It was hard for me. I will say it was hard for me to leave Fair Warning out because I like the album Fair Warning. It's just a little darker. I think it's more of a grows on you type record than some of the other ones. I'm not.
You hated Diver Down, right?
It might be the worst Van Halen. They just melded in. Oh, let's throw like 3 cover songs on it, and it's bad. No, I don't like Diver Down. I mean, there is not a good original song on Diver Down, so they didn't put any effort into it. So I'm going to put the same level of effort into my review of that record and say,
get in here, Nikki.
It's bad.
Hey,
It's
Nick,
a throwaway.
Nicky, how
Thank
you
you,
doing?
Nicky.
First thing,
It's a
first thing
throwaway.
he says is correct. It's a
It's weak.
throwaway. Where the hell have you been?
All right. So I'm sure Nicky will not agree with. Well, maybe we'll agree, but
Nicky will agree. 1984, hands down.
And 1984 is the third best Van Halen. The
That is
self-titled,
bullshit.
like I said, it is so far out in front of the rest of the records. So far, in my mind.
Wow.
All right. That was our controversial segment for the week. I look forward to Jake being under the spotlight.
Oh, everybody's just going to poo-poo on the top 5 of the shenanigans. I welcome it. Welcome.
Well, and I
Bring
think what I found interesting with your list is because you are, and I'm not going to call you old.
He is.
You're a little bit
I'm
older,
old.
so your first introduction to
Guy's a relic.
your first introduction to Van Halen is earlier. Like my first real introduction to him was 1984.
Was what? 1984.
1984.
And I think
Because
that was
of when
Jake's,
in my life, where it showed up in my life, you know, where I was a little bit younger than you. Not that I'm going to point that out or anything, but
yeah.
it's just that my first introduction was that. So I would always have 1984 probably at the top, even though it probably don't deserve it. But from what I know, that's why it's there.
Hey Nicky, I would listen to Van Halen 3 before I'd listen to Diver Down.
Really? Whoa.
I should say that because I got Diver Down in the store.
Whoa.
It's a fine record.
Gosh. Van Halen 3, bar none, the greatest of the Van Halen.
All right. So the next segment that we have is chat question and answer. We're probably going to do a little bit, but it's not going to be we plan on 20 minutes. We're probably going to do a little quick one and then a wrap up, just because the top 500, the 500 took longer. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about, feel free. Any questions you want to ask, and we'll highlight it in the
I will
chat.
say this before we go into it. I will agree with Nicky is saying that Gary was great. For what Gary had to go through with Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth and going in and fitting in those shoes, what the heck do you expect? Like, that takes some cojones, you know, to get in there and do that. And I don't think, you know, he was terrible per se.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a lot of respect. I'll say this. I have a lot of respect for Gary going in and filling those shoes, knowing that he probably was going to get torn to bits.
Yeah, I mean, he's a talented guy. I mean, come on. I mean, in my top 500 albums, Extreme Porn of Graffiti 2 is in there. That is an amazing record. Get the Funk Out, Decadence Dance, He-Man Woman Hater.
Yep.
What a record. You know, Nuno Bittencourt just tears it up on that record. And Gary's vocals, and that's a cool, I don't know what you want to call it, hair, glam, whatever. That's a great record. That's a concept record. That's a great record.
What was what year was that? 90, 91?
No, I think I was actually in Desert Storm. I think it was 90.
Because that, I mean, that, yeah, that's right on the just tip of grunge just breaking out.
Yeah, so I was while we're waiting on people to ask questions, if anybody's going to ask any, but while I was in the desert, and I was in communications, and we had a van, so you know we'd sit in there and monitor the equipment and you know whatever. But we had a lot of free time, so my teammate, his wife was in Germany, and she was sending us cassettes, and we had like a little boombox over there.
Yeah.
So that was one of the cassettes she sent us, and you know, things like Dangerous Toys and Bang Tango and, you know, whatever was out at that time. I think Babylon AD and Faster Pussycat. So that's all we did. We just listened to those tapes all day long. Well, thank you, Leland. It was my pleasure.
All right. So
any questions?
Any questions? If not, we'll just kind of go into the wrap up. Again, any questions that you can think of afterwards, come join us on our Discord, or you know, send us a message. So now it's kind of going over what do you guys got going on? When's your next show? What do you have going on this week, guys, on your whatnot channels? Anything new?
Well, I'll be doing my usual Saturday morning show. It's been a busy week with the launch of the channel, and so I'm going to try to. I've got some good used stuff to throw in on Saturday morning. I usually do 25 to 30 used records. I think I'll get there tomorrow, but I got a lot of work to do tomorrow. So join me Saturday morning at 8:30, and we'll have the Japanese presses available. I think I have still about 320 of those. 200 sealed modern presses, and then we'll have some fun with these 30 used records. So
yeah,
8:30 Saturday morning.
Yeah, I've been pretty much just prepping for this show tonight over the last week. I had a lot of stuff with work. I'm planning on probably going on tomorrow at some time. I don't think I'm going to go on in the morning. If I do, I'll probably go on maybe later afternoon tomorrow. And again, too, y'all know I also have a lot of Japanese press stuff. I got about 10 new records that came in. I'm in the midst of getting another 30 to 40 that are going to come in over the next couple of weeks. So come hang out, come chit chat. I welcome the insults. I love the chatter. And if there's anything that you see and you like, you want to throw me some shout outs, let's make some deals happen. Get some deals.
And then me, I have probably one of the longest running shows on Whatnot on my Easy Like Sunday morning show. And then I also have the show on Wednesday night with the Three Men on the Record block party. And some of you who know that I've been fighting with DHL for the past, I don't know, week, and the records arrived today. So, and the thing is, I was just going through them, and I'm missing a record, but I'm gonna show you some quick things that I picked up because I'm very excited. Oh yeah, and Gonzo had Taco Bell today, and he's got gas.
Tore it up.
We have good old Sonny. Let's go back to the original format. There we go.
It's got a good shine, Leland.
So we got a nice little Sonny Rollins. And again, I haven't checked the condition on any of these. Then we have a cool Rolling Stones comp. And if you've been watching that Billy Joel documentary, we have a Japanese press of the Hassles. And we also have
a little Cold Spring Harbor.
I want to say Stone Cold Harbor, but
you need to get the original U.S. press of that, because the originals, because they sped it up so much. I mean, he does sound like a chipmunk. It is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, and the reasoning being for that supposedly is that they didn't know what they were doing, so they made a 45 and they kind of
clueless, and I think they sped it up for time too.
Here's a Japanese press of Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Ooh, nice.
That's a good record.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking for that. Then a simple little.
Get in there, Sean.
John Lennon. Now this one, I'm supposed to have two of these. I only have one. This is Arrested Development. Now, I'm keeping this for one reason. I collect Buffett adjacent. That woman right there, her name is Nadira Shakur, and she was a coral reefer. She was also in Arrested Development, which is kind of cool.
Sean, I just wanted to clarify something. When Jake and I was encouraging you to get in the Japanese, we were kind of visualizing stuff like Carpenters and.
Well, there's some Donna Summer.
Have to take him out, Jake.
Come on, break out the damn Anne Murray Japanese press.
There's some Donna Summer. There's some other Rod Stewart. Here's a little Space Camp. Remember Jinxie?
Come on,
good old Jinxie.
Little Space Camp. Yeah,
I am in search of this copy. Preston. This copy, in Japanese press. They said it was a promo, and I don't see anything on it. Promo. So I have to write a little bit of a letter.
Space Camp. Look, hey, let's see if I'm right. So, because my talent has always been the year of movies, and give or take a year early or a year late. But I think Space Camp, I believe, came out in 1986.
It's part of your year, and it's a white label promo.
Yeah. When Joaquin Phoenix was known as Leaf Phoenix.
Don't forget that he was in that.
He was a young man.
Here it is.
Again, useless knowledge I have.
Here it is.
That's a nice one, Sean. That's
Yeah.
not the Carpenters, though. That's not what we talked
No.
about.
I
What's the-
did, Leland. I did see
There
Billy.
is some boxing here and here, but and
Leland,
again,
he
these I
looks
still have
the
to open
same.
up and listen to. Here's another one.
Look at Nikki with that fro.
The footage of Billy Zane. So you didn't tell us if Billy Zane was there with you.
Billy was at Oasis. He was on the floor. I was up a little bit higher.
A little bit of Goonies, and then I got some lesser titles like Donna Summer. I got, I'll show you quick, like a Bonnie Raitt, Elvis, Bonnie Raitt. These are those, the usuals.
Collection builders, Japanese
Yeah,
style.
collection builders. He has a good Willie. Willie. This is a lot of good songs on this Willie. Covering a lot of his stuff in his career. A little Rod Stewart.
Get some Rod.
And then, of course, this is for me. This is God, is this Akina Nakamori? I think it is. Yeah, it's Akina Nakamori, kind of a compilation album. So I have a huge collection of Japanese in my own personal collection.
All right. Well,
Came in.
Mr. Moderator, we had a question that actually came in. Leland.
Japanese Floyd getting harder to find? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Depends on what album, Leland. The one that's pretty tough, I would say, to grab, depending on what you're looking for condition wise. A complete wrapped copy of Wish You Were Here is always pretty tough, especially having it wrapped in the blue shrink with the poster, with the postcards.
Yeah.
Tough. Momentary Lapse of Reason, also a tough one because that album came out in 87 and they started really halting pressing Japanese wax by 1989. So all the late 80s stuff gets pretty pricey.
Yeah. A clean wall. I mean, the problem is not. Oh, I mean, they're probably a little more rare. The problem is the pricing. They're getting really expensive, and I think they're showing up less on Whatnot because we're like as buyers, we're like, I mean, as retailers, we're like, oh, I don't know, can I bring that record in? Will people be willing to pay for that much for it? There's been a lot of there's been a good bit of inflation going on with Japanese prices the past 3-4 months.
Yeah, I think easily records have gone up easily 20%.
Yeah,
easily.
Well, mine did too with the tariffs.
Yeah, then we're fighting the tariffs. So the tariffs,
Which don't apply technically.
Yeah, legally they do not apply. Hopefully we're getting that fixed. I took 2 hours out of my time to follow up on Sean's engagement with DHL, and I hopefully had an effect. So
yeah,
because
I was looking at the Japanese CDs, and I don't know if they'd be a good enough thing on here if people would be willing to pay, because because you'd be selling CDs for $20, and are people willing to buy CDs for $20?
When you got so many people selling them $2-3 a whack, I don't know, because the mixes are different, so I mean, they might.
Look, Nikki's got probably 2 storage bins full of CDs. I'd be interested to know if he's got a Japanese,
like The Wall and stuff like that.
CD of The Wall. Bonus tracks, baby.
Bonus. I think they're cool.
I'm probably gonna get some of the CDs and stuff that I collect in Japanese, but as far as selling them, I don't know. But
some of them are pricy. I mean,
you do. Yeah, I have a little bit of Japanese CDs. I have a lot of CDs, but I have some Aussie Japanese. I have some Iron Maiden Japanese.
Terry, I think so. I think we can all agree. I mean, Scott and I obviously in this thread specialize in selling that. The reason why I think, yes, they'll hold their value down the road is, number one, I mean, a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on Obies. I think when you're collecting, I think it's a part of it. But you got to remember too, the Obies essentially were price tags, right? So a lot of people, who had them probably just took them and tossed the damn things. But over time, it's become a part of, the total package, the aesthetic, if you will, of what makes them so unique. But at the end of the day, what makes them so unique and why people come to them, Scott and I talk about it all the time. It's how clean these records are and the overall condition, and the fact that they're pressed on virgin wax. They're not pressed on recycled wax. So that eliminates a couple of things. It eliminates, pops and nicks, right? You just don't, it's a far superior listening experience.
And the shape of the used records, like Japanese, just because I think the way they always came in the little flip down thing, so people put them back in there. The jackets and the vinyl has been much better cared for.
Oh my God, yes, hands down, they're tanks.
Yeah, so I mean, and people want, everyone wants the best quality one, and unfortunately, with Japanese, there's so many that are in great shape. Where a U.S. pressing, they didn't have the sleeves, the jackets.
It's almost inverted. Like the percent quality on Japanese is like 90%, and the percent quality you go back 30, 40 years on a U.S. press, like 10% of them are in really excellent condition.
Is accurate.
You know what? I mean, Leland's kind of said, "Oh, that damn sash," and I'm kind of in between on that. I mean, it's a cool aesthetic, I guess. But here's the problem, from my opinion, as just one Japanese press seller, is we would be fine as sellers to bring non-Obi records, and they would be the same quality. The problem is nobody wants to pay for non-Obi records, like what they're worth. Like we can't make money on them because if they don't have the Obi, people think they're worth half of what they were. That's not true.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's been a topic, I think, too, that people, they're like, well, really, what is an Obi worth? I think it depends. I think it's dependent on the record itself. I think if you're looking at any Metallica record, no one's going to spend the money on a Japanese press Metallica record if it's not there. I think a lot of those early metal records, probably didn't press a lot of them. Those are important. I think some of your more commons.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you had a $22 Billy Joel with an Obi, what do you think you could get that record to sell for without the Obi?
I mean, look, we all know you can buy replacements for $10, right? So it's like, what is an Obi worth? Maybe 10 to 15 bucks.
The weird thing with that is,
so
someone's more willing to pay $15 on a U.S. copy with no Obi, no nothing, and then there's a Japanese press that the wax is 1,000 times better, doesn't have the Obi, and they won't want to pay $15.
Yeah,
which is
it's a weird environment, because it's what you described, Jake. If you take 7 away from 22, that's nearly a 33% price reduction.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have a piece of paper on it.
Yeah.
When the real great thing about the press, about it is the press, the vinyl and the condition. It's amazing. And the covers are what? Sometimes I try to guess, but I'd say sometimes they're like 10 to 20% thicker. The gatefolds are staggeringly impressive.
Yeah, they're awesome. I mean, and I've had people reach out, that have told me, like, they don't care about the Obies, and they're like, look, hey, you could find me a replacement if you can. I don't care. I don't want to pay, X amount or whatever it is. But people, from what I have gathered, right, people prefer to have a complete package. And I think they're very smart with that. I think it's eye candy, right? It has nothing to do with the quality or sound of the record at all whatsoever. But the fact that everyone who looks at Japanese press records and see those OBs, it's an expectation.
Yeah, and
Right?
if you're a collector, a serious collector, I understand you want the original OB, and that's fine. But I think a lot of people are after the records for the sound, and I feel like, man, we should really evaluate what we're doing, and that's the reason we don't bring them. They're out there. We don't buy them because we can't sell them.
Yeah.
I mean, we could sell them, but
that is correct, Chris.
Here's a Japanese record with an OB, but it's made in Germany.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? Because are there active pressing plants in Japan right now?
Well, Nikki, are you still here?
One.
Yeah.
I think there's one plant in Japan. Yes.
And they're not.
Yeah, I think there's one.
The records.
Yeah.
They're.
Well, that's another thing too, Chris, that people talk about. Some people. Here's what I like about why I got so much into it. Number one, it's the quality. Yep, the Sony plant is still there.
Yeah.
The sound quality is great. I like a lot of the high ends, and I will tell you, man, I have listened to some albums where I've taken a U.S. press, I've listened to it. I've taken a Japanese press, I've listened to it. Now, mind you, I don't have a $30,000 system. Okay, so I'm sure there are differences, but with what I have, in some instances, you can't tell. But in some, the Japanese press record, it sounds cleaner. And I think that's really first and foremost when it comes down to is just how clean they are. Like if you can find a U.S. press of a particular record that's hard to find, right? And you find it VG Plus, you've scored. I just don't think we did a great job back in the day taking care of our stuff.
Well, they didn't come with the jackets, so they were doomed to be.
That is correct. Yep, it's more high.
It
is more high end, and that's a question that we get asked a lot. Why are somebody paying? Like someone came in my room and paid, I think, $25 for John Fogerty center field, and they were like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, yeah, you can find a U.S. press for $6 to $8, but here's the deal: it's the quality. It sounds better. I've listened to both. It's just a better quality vinyl. It's virgin wax. It's not recycled, which we did a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, it's not recycled. It's blended, right? It's not recycled. There is like the eco vinyl is recycled stuff.
Correct.
But it's not pure vinyl like the Japanese.
Correct.
It's just it's interesting. I have these two, and Nikki's on here. I don't know if Nikki remembers, but I bought my OG press of Smith's Meet His Murder from Nikki, and that's what's in my personal collection. But these records, I felt like I actually ripped this down and looked at my OG, and I looked at this one. They appear to me to be the same. They appear to be the same mix. Like the waveform looks exactly the same. Yeah, so that's another BS thing that's out there. Is like, oh, the Japanese always have less bass and less more treble. Sometimes,
yeah, I agree. Sometimes, yeah, but not always the case.
And this is the repress series here. This one right here. So I listened to them, and this one sounded like it had more gain on it, and it definitely sounded like it had a little more high end. So I ripped it down, looked at the waveform, and it does. But guess what? In the waveform, I could see more low end on it too. And this one right here just had a little more punch. Yeah, so it's interesting. There's a lot of, I think in vinyl, there's a lot of people who subscribe to a certain religion, like it's absolute. And I think, well, there's some things that are probably generally true, but they're not always true about. Like Japanese press always having more treble and less bass. I don't think that's true on every single press.
I agree. But look, and the other thing too, right, is tell people all the time, you can find affordable Japanese press stuff too, right?
I will never buy an eco pressed record.
I would not either.
They sound horrible. I bought a Coldplay, and I was like, what is this? It was horrible.
And it was Coldplay too, so
I sold it. Yeah, it was a miracle I bought a Coldplay record, but I was giving them a chance. But then they had their stuff pressed on recycled eco vinyl or whatever it is. And I heard the what's her name, Billie Eilish record sounds bad, is what people say. It's on eco vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're buying something for the sound. Why would we do something that reduces the quality of the sound? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So I think we kind of went through our whole schedule here and what we had planned. The wrap up was 10 minutes, and I think we went another extra 10 minutes after that. So no questions this week. That's fine. This video will be posted on YouTube, and so you'll have access. I mean, we've only have 10. This is our first show, and we have 10 people, which is I kind of I expected that, but some people couldn't watch tonight, and they're gonna go back through. Hopefully, give it a listen. Maybe you guys can go back and tell your friends and share it with everyone.
Yeah, again, the reason why we did this is an opportunity to really take the time to hang out, be engaged in chit chat, as opposed to kind of showing records and moving on from one record to another. It's more about making it about y'all, making it about the conversation, right?
And there's a lot of plans to do other material other than just this show.
Yeah.
Because I know Scott has a cleaning video that's going to be at some point coming soon, and I can't wait for him to realize that this is better than his VPI.
That
This
cleaning
sucks
video,
better than the other one.
that cleaning video is going to be fun. Yeah, I don't look forward to testing that out, Sean, but my shop vac is ready.
So we'll see many different ways to clean a record for all different levels of vinyl collectors. Because there's the really expensive way, and then there's some less expensive ways, and then a lot of us are adopting the Viver, and the Viver is a great middle start for cleaning records. I mean,
Yeah,
you can go from that to the Humming Guru and up to the Degritter, but you don't need a $3,000. It might. The Degritter is great because it cleans and it dries. It's all in one.
Sean.
Maybe with
Sean,
the
can
Viver, it's a
I
little more work.
just stop you right there?
Yeah.
Now you're ruining something for me. You're saying we don't need a $3,000 degritter. That's not what I told my wife. Okay,
Nikki,
so we need to clean that up.
Well, the 3,000 the Degritter is very important to any collector.
Nikki, you can send that over, bud. I'll be happy to work it for you.
The VPI makes this great record flattener that is a must-have for all collectors. Did that work?
But it's like $1,000, right?
It's worth every penny.
Sean knows what my next purchase is. So yeah, good job, Sean.
Every penny. Just like my DJI video thing that at some point I'll be having.
I've got a great record flattener. You'll see it on my video.
I can't wait to see Gonzo's rendition of cleaning records. I cannot wait.
I think a lot of Gonzo's stuff is going to be reaction stuff. Like I'm gonna do a cleaning video, and I think you're going to watch his reaction video to my cleaning video.
Yeah, and we'll have he'll probably be more. We'll probably put some of his stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
We'll just say his way is the wrong way.
Oh, I got some cool. I showed Sean a little hack the other day that he loved. So, when I started doing it, I didn't have a lot of money, and I had to be creative about the way I cleaned and stuff. So, I think no matter what your budget level is or your record collecting interest is, you'll find some cleaning tips. And I will say this: I don't say I'm an expert, but I have cleaned over 5,000 records. So I do know what works and what doesn't work, and what will hurt a record and what won't hurt a record. And I think that's another thing. There's a lot of uninformed information out there. Records are a little tougher than you think they are. You can scrub a dub on them just a little bit.
You can.
Yeah.
Brillo pads work wonderfully. Do an amazing job. Brillo pads.
Belt sanders.
Absolutely. That's one way we can look at it. Yep. Belt sanders. 1800 grit sandpaper does a great job.
And Gonzo is you already can hear what his might look like. But yeah, we're gonna add a lot more content. Um, Different things. There'll be different topics and different discussions. Um, and hopefully it'll be very interesting. And if you have any suggestions, or maybe we do a segment off the main with someone who knows so much about, I don't know, different genres of music that we don't know. Maybe we'll do little segments with that. I plan on doing a segment on something that none of you guys know, and it's called tropical rock, trop rock, which is kind of an offshoot of Jimmy Buffett. There's a whole subculture that no one has any idea. Unless you went into a bar in Key West, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And
Interesting.
and it'll be fun going over some of this stuff because it's bar drinking songs and boats and palm trees and it's pretty cool.
I eventually will be doing my probably top 10 songs at the roller rink.
Yeah, absolutely nobody wants that.
Live
shit.
from the hot tub.
But you do it.
Jake.
Everybody wants it. Everybody's been on skates and held hands to that song and shed a tear.
Gonzo will probably do some makeout song top fives and top
Could.
10s.
Yeah, we could do that. But that's up my alley.
Live from the jacuzzi.
Yeah,
Yep.
there will be the Gonzinator. There will be the live from the jacuzzi. Yes, we have
And
talked
maybe
about
skating. I don't know. Can you skate backwards? I could never. When they changed directions, I was screwed. I mean,
No.
I could always go clockwise, but once
that.
they
Nope.
switched,
I
I
went
couldn't do
one
it.
speed, just forward and fast with reckless abandon.
All right. So now,
All right.
time for final words, guys. What do you want to say to everyone? And let's wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say thanks to everybody joining us. Obviously, it's probably going to be very clear when we look back after 50 episodes that, yeah, we were a little rough on the first one, but you got to get started.
Expected.
Yeah, and we know that. I mean, same way, anytime you do something new, you're going to learn. But it is a situation where we're looking for your input. I think we were just kind of chatting off to the side here a little bit and say, we probably need to cut the records down even more on the 500 so we can squeeze more content in otherwise and stretch it out. But anyway, we're here. A lot of you know how to get a hold of us. Get a hold of us any way you want to, and give us some feedback. We're all big boys. We can take it, and hopefully we can have. I see a couple of people in chat that we hope one day will join us on different segments here for the show. So I just want to say thank you for those who have put up with us for what 3 hours now.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
2.5. Yeah.
Get it right,
also,
Scott.
guys, remember on YouTube, there's a way that you can copy and share this video with others. So I encourage that you do that. Click that share button, copy, paste it, and just text your friends it. I mean, that's what I know what I'm going to do. So do that share thing on the YouTube underneath the video and start sharing for us if you can. And let's see if we can start building this platform for us. And thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And I do want to say that I do apologize because of Jake's shenanigans. Our segment with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, we ran out of time. So maybe next time we can fit you guys in.
Yeah, we'll reschedule it.
Shenanigans sometimes will. So sorry, Taylor. We didn't have room for you today on our show.
Next show, Sean. When's the next show?
Next show is next Thursday at 8 p.m. So make sure you give us a follow and also click that notification button. That's very important because how many people bookmarked our show and didn't type that notification and they didn't get notified we're live? So we got to remind them when we tell people to do that, we need to remind them that notification button.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So,
but I'm dumb.
You're not dumb. You're just ill-informed. There you go. All right. Anything you want to say, Jake, while we close this down?
No, I think you guys pretty much took care of it. I am, again, like I said, I'm honored to be a part of this lovely trio. I'm super excited to really kind of see where this goes. And I always love the banter and welcome it. And I just love listening to everybody's, input and thoughts and ideas on records they like and they don't like. Again, it's, it's just an opportunity to learn about, new things. and that's kind of what I'm here for. I'm excited, for the growth and to see what people, bring forth and see, kind of where it goes with a lot of new music.
Yeah, and so I want to thank you guys. We've come to the end of side 2 of that vinyl, and it's time to pick the needle up off the wax and say good night.
Yeah. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night, guys.
Peace.
Thank you.